Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order, the council presentation ceremony. It's 5:10. The first recognition is Officer of the Month, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, city manager, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Chief Roll and his command staff, I'm here to present Officer of the Month for March of 2017 to Detective David Mata. All right, during the month of March of 2017, Detective Mata has been involved in a variety of cases and has performed his duties above expectations, making 4 felony arrests and 1 misdemeanor arrest. On March 3rd of 2017, a male student in Keysgate High pulled a knife out and was chasing 2 other students around the school parking lot. Detective Mata was assigned the case and was able to locate the subject very quickly and arrest him. In February 2017, Officer Wilson observed a Toyota Corolla traveling northbound on Southwest 14th Avenue. As he got closer, he noticed that the male inside the vehicle was wanted for several outstanding felony warrants. Officer Wilson tried to conduct a traffic stop on that vehicle. The vehicle fled in Florida City for several blocks, bailed out, crashed into a fence, and was able to elude police on that date. Again, Detective Mata was assigned the case and was able to hunt down the subject, locate him, and arrest him. On March 14th, 2017, a male was walking the area of 725 Southwest 1st Avenue when he was approached by a subject that was demanding his money. The victim refused, a struggle ensued, during which time the victim was stabbed. The victim was able to get away from the subject, run to an apartment. Anonymous person opened the door, tried to let him in. The subject chased him down. The 2 now were struggling with the subject to close the door. The male reached in and stabbed the anonymous person that was trying to help him. Again, Detective Mata was assigned the case and was able to locate the subject and arrest him. The main reason we're here, though, is because during the month of March in 2017, Detective Mata went to trial on a case that he had investigated back in April of 2014, where a young female doctor was being stalked by one of her patients. A couple of these incidents happened in Homestead. Having great concern for the safety of the doctor, Detective Mata began investigating the case immediately. It was quickly learned that the subject at some point had changed his name from Jerry Drucker to Javier Fernandez. A further look revealed that the subject had done a very long prison sentence for 2 separate counts of attempted murder under the Jerry Drucker name. After he was released from prison is when he changed his name to Javier Fernandez. Recognizing that the doctor's life may be in jeopardy, Detective Mata dedicated all his time to the case, and the subject was quickly located and arrested. After he was arrested, the subject stated to Detective Mata, "You will never keep me from her. She loves me and I love her." When the case went to court, the judge seen the concern for the safety of the victim and held him without bond, and he was held in Miami-Dade Corrections until trial. In March of 2017, the case went to trial, and the subject was found guilty on all 4 counts and was sentenced to several years back in prison. Detective Mata's commitment to his profession and his community he serves is reflected daily in the way he tackles his duties. Detective Mata always displays a high work ethic, and these are just but a few examples of the dedication that he puts into all of his cases. I believe Detective Mata is well deserving of the Officer of the Month for 2017. The doctor felt that she needed to be here today. She just got off a plane and just arrived here minutes ago, and she's here if I want to welcome her up for just a couple words.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Maribel Hanau, and I am a podiatrist who practiced here in Homestead for about 4 years in a private office right next to Homestead Hospital as well as in Homestead Hospital. I was asked by Lieutenant Barker a couple of weeks ago to see if I could come and speak a few words about Detective Mata, and I did not hesitate for 1 second to say yes. 3 years ago, actually 3 years and 2 days now, I suffered the horrible and frightening experience of becoming a victim to a stalker. Even worse, that stalker was a patient I was treating. When it began, I honestly did not think the offender's kind behavior was unusual, but that behavior then escalated very rapidly to not only inappropriate, but threatening and terrifying all at the same time. This vulnerable and helpless feeling of continually having to look over my shoulder is something I do not wish on anyone. At first, I did not have any idea how this would affect both my personal and professional life, but as the situation began to escalate, my one saving grace was Detective Mata. From the moment he called me to investigate the situation, I could tell the sincerity in his voice, a sincerity that I had not sensed with others. Without his help and his persistence, as well as the Homestead Police Department, I do not know if I would be standing here right now. He went beyond what was necessary and what was required of him, and I no longer felt helpless knowing he was on my side. He not only helped me and offered me advice, but also accompanied me to the intimidating bail and restraining order hearings, giving me strength to face what was ahead. He always answered all of my phone calls throughout the 3 years waiting for trial, and he never failed to offer words of support and hope. He was there during the trial, and due in part to his perseverance, the stalker was found guilty and is now awaiting sentencing. Without him, as well as the other detectives who assisted him, the criminal would not be arrested. Throughout what seemed to me endless ordeal leading to the arrest, I spoke with multiple officers and detectives from different departments, and no one could compare to him. He is genuinely a caring and selfless person and is such an asset to have as part of the Homestead Police Department. I know this is not much, but I at least wanted to share this with all of you and recognize him for the outstanding detective he is. It is a small token of appreciation for all of his hard work and dedication to myself and others. I know and understand that day in and day out, serving our community as police officers is hard work and sacrifice, and I am sure there are many moments when all of you may feel underappreciated. However, I want all of you to know, and especially Detective Mata, that whenever you do feel like that, there is one person out there who truly respects, admires, and appreciates all of the hard work you did for me and continue to do for others. Thank you.
I would like to thank the council, the command staff, my unit. Detective Cabrera did a great job on this case, was able to get DNA fingerprints. Detective Perez assisted me in interviewing the subject. I hope I'm not leaving anyone out. Officer Roa, Officer Hurtado were the first initial officers that wrote the report, and it was definitely a team effort. My lieutenant, he just lets us do our job. The command staff gives us the resources to be able to do our job, and the council, of course. Without all of you guys, this wouldn't be possible. And obviously, I had a great victim. She went to every trial, every pre-file, every deposition, and we did it together. Thank you.
Well.
And Dania Garcia, the best crime analyst anyone could have. Sorry, Chief.
No, it's okay. You know, these are the type of cases that no one wants to deal with, but this kind of officer, a detective, that we love in our department. And this is what it's all about, you know, being dedicated to your true profession and doing an outstanding job, especially when it comes down to someone that was in a situation that the doctor was in. So again, Detective Mata, thank you so much. And just to make this official, this is a plaque, and it reads, presented to Detective Mata for being selected Officer of the Month for 2017. It's an extinguished honor, and it's also a blessing that we have someone in the department that actually care about the citizens in this community, the police department, and also local government here in Homestead. So again, thank you. We appreciate you, and we're going to continue supporting you. Thank you so much.
We got one more for you. You know, we're proud of our police officers every day, everything that you do, all of you do, but on once a month, there's a special recognition for the most outstanding of the officers, of all the outstanding officers that we have. So this is kind of like you're the best of the best. So, but it's always an honor for me, and I know Larry and Mr. Williams is here. Mr. Ross, sorry, Larry, I've known you too long. But for us to be able to acknowledge, you know, what you do for our community and give you a special recognition, which is basically a certificate of recognition, which reads, Detective David Mata, Homestead Police Department, with gratitude, we thank you for your distinguished service above and beyond the call of duty. The city of Homestead salutes you. Thank you very much, sir. Anything else, Chief? Okay, thank you.
Yes. If you guys could all kind of line up here for your photo. Yeah. All right, and we're going to squeeze in. All right, Councilman Roth, you're still a little outside. You guys come closer. Thank you, guys.
The next presentation is presentation by Councilman Williams.
Good evening to all the employees, the citizens, and to all that are here assembled tonight with us. It is my honor and pleasure to present this proclamation for fair housing month. And I'll ask that the finance director, Carlos, will join me and his colleague that also shares in his responsibilities. And she has a lot of information at the table and goodies and treats. So we want to make sure everybody gets what she has. But we have always done this every year, and it is my esteemed pleasure to do it every year. And thank you, Mayor Porter, for allowing me the opportunity, wherever he is, to be able to present this, because we are the epitome of what fair housing should be. Whereas April 11, 2015 marks the 47th anniversary of the passage of the U.S. Fair Housing Title number 8 of the Civil Rights Acts of 1968, as amended, which eradicates a national policy of fair housing without regard to race, color, creed, national origin, sex, and handicap, and encourages fair housing opportunities for all citizens. And to the fair housing law is consistent with the principles of equality and justice for all. And whereas the City of Homestead, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, concerned citizens, and the housing industry are working together to realize the dream of fair and affordable housing for all residents. And the City of Homestead is committed to highlight the Fair Housing Law, Title number 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, by continuing to address the discrimination in our community, to support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunity, and to plan partnership efforts with other organizations to help assure every American of their right to fair housing. Now, therefore, I, Jeff Porter, Mayor of the City of Homestead, Florida, do hereby proclaim April 2017 as Fair Housing Month in Homestead for equal opportunity, in witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Homestead to be affixed. City of Homestead, Mayor Jeff Porter, Patricia Fairclough, Vice Mayor, John Burgess, Councilman Everett Maldonado, Councilman Larry Roth, Stephen R. Shelley, Jimmy L. Williams III, and George Gretz, City Manager. Thank you so very much. This is presented to you and to the wonderful people of your department in which you continue to provide this for. We are very appreciative for what we do. Now, would you bring some of those trinkets that you have there, and some of the paperwork that you have? We want to make sure that everybody here receives something. We made all of these packets and different things. We want to make sure we pass it out.
This is a measuring tape.
Oh, tell us what it is.
Okay, we have information on fair housing opportunities, and also we have a measuring tape that has our logo on it, so you feel free to please get one on your way out.
Absolutely. We're going to pass them out. We want to make sure that everyone gets one. That way there's no way nobody would know about fair housing. So thank you so much, Mr. Director Carlos, for what you have done. Also, we want to invite up the Community Policing Department. Chief, you and your department, especially the community police, we had a career and technical fair. And the community, beyond that, the community policing has always been instrumental in every organization, activity, every thing I've ever had or possessed here in the City of Homestead as relates to backpack giveaways, whatever the Southwest Advisory Board. Community policing has always been there. And so many times we expect people to do things, really they don't have to, but it's always good to tell people thank you. Thank you goes a long way, even though it may not be dollars, but we all like to have affirmation to say what a good job that you're doing. And that we know, I know you both personally, that you all have put in tremendous amount of hours and work, and some of your other colleagues that are not here, Chief, every time that there's an event, They're there on time. They're there till the doors close. And they have provided a tremendous community service to all of our events, but especially this one. We want to make sure. And we didn't just give out certificates this year. We wanted to do something that was priceless. And so this is an essential piece. It's a wonderful thing, and this is what it says. It's a wonderful thing that we're all different. Each of us have strengths and skills to share. And when we link our individual strengths together, we're invincible. Can't imagine us without you, Homestead Community Policing, and you are an essential piece to our puzzle. And we say thank you for what you have done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. And thank you for the command staff, and thank for the excellent leadership that the community policing under your direction, Chief, and for your support for over the years to make this a very good success. And so we high commendations to the Chief and all of the police officers in the city of Homestead, but especially to my community police officers. Thank you so very much.
Would you guys like a group photo? Yeah, if we can move over a little further. Not get the podium. Perfect. Okay, just one more. Thank you. You know, I can't help it. You're so photogenic. Thank you so much.
Today is a wonderful day also. Today is Administrative Day. And we cannot do what we do without our administrators. They're the one that make sure that we are where we need to be. And I want to say to all the administrators in the city of Homestead, those that work for our directors, that we appreciate them for what they do. And so I appreciate my assistant, Selena, because she does so much. But today is Professional Administrative Day. And so you all go way beyond the price and measure. And so we salute you all and say thank you for what you've done. So come on, let's give them a hand for what they do. Yeah, so when you go back to your office tomorrow, you tell them thank you for making you look good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 26, 2017 council meeting to order. It's approximately 6:04 p.m. This evening we'll have the invocation by Pastor Joel Santos, pastor at Faith in Action Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with the Police Explorers. Would you please stand?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, what a privilege and honor it is to not only to reside, but to serve you in the city of Homestead. Father, a great blessing of living here is the group in front of me. Father, I want you to grant the mayor and the commissioners the wisdom they need to make decisions not only that impact us today, but the future of our city. Father, I want you to bless and give strength to our city manager and the staff that work in the city of Homestead, tirelessly, every single day to make our city better. And Father, a special blessing to keep our chief and our police officers safe as they keep us safe every single day of our life. In your name we pray, amen. Amen.
Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms, left face, forward, march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Santos. Thank you to the color guard, the explorers. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley?
Here.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Maldonado?
Here.
Councilman Williams?
I'm here.
Councilman Roth?
Here.
Councilman Burgess?
Here.
Mayor Porter?
Here. Any additions, deletions, deferrals, Mr. Attorney?
Yes, the applicant has requested deferral of item number PH 2016 at tab 6 to the date and time certain of May 17th, 2017.
The applicant requested that.
Yes.
Tab 6. Anything else? Mr. Manager?
Mayor, there's 3 other additions. First one is car 2074, authorize city manager to enter into an agreement for the multimodal transit development. There is car 2079, purchase of properties from Dreyer Enterprise, Inc. for a multimodal transit center. And there's car 2036, ITB 2017-16, demolition services of city properties.
All right, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor, for rules of procedure, to be clear about these walk-on items, would the attorney please inform us of how these things are done? Because, Mayor, I have a very big issue. I had a resolution prepared along with my tab 17 that did not make it up here tonight. And the staff informed me that it was too late to have the item attached when it's already in the tab of 17 of my business. How can this is an addendum to my issue? How can it not be a part of my of what my discussion will be? What is the difference between what I have done and what this addendum is to here? Because there needs to be equity, and I'd like to hear from the attorney. Through the mayor.
Mr. Attorney?
Councilman Williams, the council has made a differentiation between staff items and council items. There certainly, which is that there's not a problem bringing on staff items, but that council items should not be just placed at the last minute on the agenda. And this council is certainly very welcome to change that policy, and and they can do that. But that's the rule that we're operating under, which was, I don't have the date of the approval, but that's the rule we're operating under. And if the council wants to change it, we're happy to change it. But in your particular case, you asked that we draft the resolution. We did it. We forwarded it to staff. Staff advised that it was too late for the agenda, and in accordance with the council procedure, we could not place it on the agenda, and that's what happened.
That's incorrect. I already had an agenda item. This is part of it. It's not anything that's new. And furthermore, it was not late. And furthermore, the staff did not indicate that to me personally, that it was late. So, in all due respect to your rationale of your ruling, I haven't seen it in writing.
Okay, well, it is in writing.
Provide it to me, Mr. Attorney.
I will.
I believe before the end of this meeting.
I will. Happy to.
And also, I move, Mayor, if you allow me to suspend the rules on that to allow my agenda item to be on for tonight for discussion. This is in addition to my tab 17. I don't understand what the difference of it is will be.
Mr. Attorney, let me ask a question. The items can be added on, but action items were where we had the problem in the past.
Correct.
Where the action items came on very late, and I remember, I think, that it was the information didn't have enough time to get, the rest of the council necessarily didn't have enough time to get all the information or all the facts together. So it was an action item. Now, things can be added on under business.
Not action items.
But action items had the restriction.
That's correct.
But Mayor,
Yes, sir.
this isn't an action item. It's a discussion.
And that's
And it's
what I'm trying to
part,
clarify.
and it's part of the discussion. It's a discussion. So this is not an action item. So in his interpretation of what he's talking about, he's incorrect. This is a discussion. If you look under my business, it's under as a discussion. This resolution is part of it, so that if we decide to move on it, this will be accompanied as part of my discussion. So tell me how it didn't make it in time, Mr. City Manager, through the mayor. How did it not make it in time if it's already a part of this? And you all have put this, you all gave us this, where's this thing at? Give it here. This thick packet last night for us to read through. You want us to read through all of this last night when we got it for today and be prepared? Addendum 1, Addendum 2, and Addendum 3. I agree with all the projects. I don't agree with the process. And so it's not fair for us as council people to get this at the last minute. This is at the last minute. Very last minute. Not a call to tell me, watch out for your email because we're walking an item on an addendum. Did you all make a call to us? Mr. Attorney,
I did not make a call to you, Councilman.
Well, how would you want us to be prepared to vote on something like this? I'm done. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
I'd still ask for a suspension of the rules for my item to be, since he clarified that he thinks it's an action item. It's a discussion item, Mr. Attorney.
Mr. Attorney, if it's a discussion item, he can bring it on as a non-action discussion item. Correct or incorrect?
It is on the agenda as a discussion item. The clarification that we believe that we received from council is that you did not want us to have action items from council members put on. Once again, if the council wants to change that rule, it's not anything that we imposed or that we would ever impose. The council certainly feel free to have a different procedure, but we were operating under the directions that we had.
Correct. Mr. Maldonado?
Yeah, I was going to second his motion in regards to that as a walk-on item.
Okay, at this particular point, it fits the criteria because it's a discussion item, okay? It's not an action item. As long as there's no action taken, we'll discuss the item. No action, okay? Fine. Mr. Williams?
Mayor, see, this is where the delineation of Mr. Attorney, you work for the council. And so telling staff about something and you're not communicating with council, who you work for, is I believe, an egregious attempt on your part, as wise as you are, as your name is, which are wise, that you ought to have, you should have called, or your staff should have said, hey, this is what but it's not an action item. It's a discussion. You should have been able to delineate between the two. I'm not asking for you to feedback. I'm not asking for you to talk back. This is not a conversation. I'm just saying to you, going forward, that staff should realize that what this item was and should not have held it up as part of my packet as a discussion, period. Didn't have to go through the city manager at all for this to be added onto as a discussion. It just makes no, you have to, come on, we have to be fair about things. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. We're going to move on to Addendum Tab 1. Wait, let's see. No, is there a motion to add 1, 2, and 3 to the agenda? Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Tab Addendum 1, Mr. Attorney?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an amended agreement for the development of a multimodal station with retail space and a family entertainment center in the historic downtown, removing conditions precedent to execution of the development agreement, superseding Resolution 2017-335, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
A report from staff. Gemma, is that you?
Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a comprehensive agreement with Axiom DR Construction, LLC, doing business as Axiom Construction Company, LLC, in substantially the form attached.
Any questions from council? Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor. This is a large, and I'm just be very honest about this. And for the public, this is a large piece of apple to bite off of, and to get this yesterday. What time did you all send this out, Jerry?
I'm sorry, Councilman, I didn't hear you.
Council has the floor.
Yes, sir.
You talk, Mr. Mac.
I don't think he heard your question.
Yeah, he was having a conversation with the attorney, right? Was it that important than what we're discussing, what I'm discussing now? Was that more important than what I'm discussing?
It was important, but not important for
What time did you all send this out?
I think, if I recall, around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock what? In the morning?
At night, sir.
And you wanted us at night to read all of this and come back and vote intelligently with it? Or did you just think we would just push it through?
No, sir, I didn't think anybody would just push anything through.
Why didn't you all call us to tell us that this, well, me, and tell me that this, I need to look through this? And this is, how many pages is this, sir?
Off the top of my head, sir, I do not know.
I would say about 125 pages or so, give or take, and very important for the city. And you want us to vote on this tonight. I don't know if any of my colleagues had time to read this. You can't, my whole point is you can't rush us as if we're not intelligent enough to read all of it. We got to read this stuff. And we have to be intelligent. When we go out to the public and they ask us, how much does it cost? What is the, we can't, I wouldn't be able to tell them anything. All I vote yay, aye. That's not why we're up here. And I think it's very disrespectful for you all to walk this on at this time in order for this to happen. I agree with the project. I don't agree with how the process is going. Okay, so with that, Mayor, something needs to be changed. Somebody needs to be talked to. But this is not how we should be operating at all, as a council and as a city, as policymakers.
Mr. Maldonado?
Yeah, I was actually, to be honest, with everyone here, I didn't even see this come through. I mean, it's not that our phone's always going off with emails and what have you, and you know, at that time, I didn't expect anything else to come through. This wasn't on our agenda at all. Obviously, an amended agenda. I'm looking now, and I just saw the email where it says yesterday at 9:03 p.m., where the addendums are here. With the PDF files, which I've never downloaded. So it was to my surprise as well. And like my colleague said, that, you know, it's obvious that we definitely want this to go forward. I mean, this is the project we've been working on for years, and so there's no question in regards to that. But, you know, this is definitely one of those items that when it comes before the public, you know, to find out that it was on, they'll be able to read this at some point and challenge us and say, listen, this came in at the last minute, you guys went and voted, and it looks bad. So I haven't had time to look at it at all. So it's basically just, you know, a nod to get it through. So anyways, yeah, my question was going to be at what time did he send it out, but I just found it right now in my email.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, sir? Nope. Mr. Shelby, I know you're on the phone. Did you have any questions?
No, just real quick. My understanding from this document, this is the same document that we reviewed and discussed on the March 22nd council meeting, except for the fact that the name had been tweaked or changed based on the attorney's recommendation. Is that not correct?
Yes, Councilman. There is one other change regarding the funding structure. The name is different, and the name is that of the original proposer. And the funding structure has been tweaked. We are no longer using the federal funds. Instead, we'll be using PTP funds and the local option gas tax to replace those federal funds. Use of the federal funds would have delayed the project by 6 to 9 months, and we wanted to keep the momentum going for our downtown development. And so those are the two substantive changes in this agreement, but otherwise it is substantially the same as the original agreement that was before you in March.
Okay, that's what I thought, because when I received the document, it was a thick document, but it was substantially the same as before, minus those two, the structure change and the name change, and so I wasn't aware of any of the additional substantive changes, and you're saying there are no additional substantive changes.
At all, sir?
There
That's
is,
all, yes.
I'm sorry, Councilman. There is one additional change. There is an addendum on this version that was not on the original version. The original proposer was Axiom Construction, which is a licensed general contractor in the state of Florida. And because we were contracting directly with the general contractor instead of a development company, we needed to add a construction contract. So it is a standard construction contract that has been integrated as an addendum. My understanding, and the city attorney, please speak to this if I'm in error, there's standard construction contracts that accompany these agreements, and that was added as an addendum.
Matt, if you and Gail could take the microphone to answer any questions about this. Gail, would you answer this one, please?
Yes, we use the AIA general construction contract and general conditions. And it's an exhibit to the contract, and the contractor has signed off on it.
Mr. Burgess? No, I'm all right for a minute, sir. Okay. Mr. Williams?
Yes. So, Ms. Gale, you're saying that this was sent in when? You added this construction contract addendum when? Part of the agreement. When was that? When was that? When time-wise, when?
Was it, I don't know when it was sent.
But it wasn't part of, my Councilor Shelley made a point that say that there's no substantive change, but in the addendum of this, you added a general contractor. I'm not a general contractor. So you want me to read the language and understand it without going through and thinking, this is the whole point I'm talking. When we say anything, I don't care if the name change, if the financing change, that's a major part of the agreement to me. That's the whole substance part of it. And you said now we're not using federal funds because it would delay it. Now we're using PTP funds. How is that going to work? Are we going to get reimbursed? How are the federal funds now come into play if we're using PTP funds? PTP, Ms. CRA person.
The federal funds that were designated for this project are still designated to the city because we are now an FTA grantee. We did do the process to become a grantee so we could receive those funds. And it is our intent to allocate those funds for other transit projects.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute. Monies that we had told the public that we were going to use for this project, you're now saying that we're going to replace it with PTP funds. Monies that were allocated for this project, now you're saying we're going to use it for the transient issues or related projects. Is that what I'm hearing you saying?
That is correct. The money that's currently being used for those transit projects from PTP and from the local option gas tax will be reallocated to this project, and the federal funds, the FTA funds, will be allocated to those transit projects. Because the PTP funds and the local option gas tax do not present a delay in the project, while the federal funds do.
So why would we make a whole public appearance about these monies will be going towards that project? Do you know the perception that looks, and then we say we changed the plan on you? We're not going to do that. We're going to use these funds for that. And we say that's not substantial? I mean, come on, we've got to, and then you added a general contract. Which addendum is that? Because I hadn't read it. You all have read it. Which addendum is that?
Exhibit I.
Exhibit I. Where's that?
It's in your.
Where?
I don't. Well, they're in alphabetical order, the exhibits at the end of the
Well,
development agreement.
mine does not have that, so maybe yours have. Where is it?
Well, it was on the, I think it's part of the agenda item.
Somebody, please tell me. Somebody find the exhibit for me, Mr. Richard, or somebody. I mean, come on, this is a major piece here. Yeah, it's in Exhibit I. Exhibit I is where? Exhibit 3, which?
Because the J, K, and L are short.
Exhibit 4, Exhibit 3. Please, somebody please find it. This is what I'm talking about. We've been boozled the public with these kind of stuff. We can't do this. You want me to vote on this tonight? Intelligently. You see it? Did you find it? Did you find it, Mr. Roth? You hadn't found it? Mr. Roth hadn't found it either. That's 3. Mr. Scheller, you have the contract? You find Exhibit 3? And you say this is standard. What is a standard general contract?
When I say standard, it is the AIA, which is the American Institute of Architects, has a series of forms that are commonly used in the construction industry. And this AIA document, AIA A101, is a standard construction contract where there is a agreed upon price. The development agreement had always contemplated a construction agreement, but at that time it was going to be between the developer and Axiom. Now that we are using Axiom as the developer as well as the contractor, we needed to enter into the construction contract directly.
All right, I'll release the floor, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Carlos, did you have anything? Okay, well, this project has been going on a long time. And I was aware of some of the changes that were being made. I mean, at this particular point, this has been on the table many months. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with staff's position. I'm one person. So, Mr. Burgess?
Thank you. If I remember, I think we were going to, excuse me, have a special call on last Friday that got canceled, and these items were going to be put on there then?
Correct, Councilman. We were going to do a special call. In fact, I thought it was going to be Monday, but on Friday it got
Excuse me, I meant
canceled.
Monday. We got notification on Friday.
Yes, yes. And my apologies. I thought council had been notified that this was coming out today. But there was word that this item was coming out on Monday as part of a special call.
Gemma, the only change, one is the name, of course, that we're doing. Financially, the only change is how we're getting some of the money from, correct? We're not going to use the money that Congressman Corbello and those guys fought so hard to get for us at this particular time because of time constraints of when we could get that deal done, and we want to move things along.
That is correct.
Are there anything else that should be brought to our attention that's different than the deal that we have been speaking about for months and months, other than that $6.8 million or $8 million that we're going to take from a different area now?
No, our obligation under this agreement, the cost of the project hasn't changed. Nothing else of substance has changed.
The agreement is the agreement, other than the funding mechanism that we're using.
And the party that we're
contracting. The only reason
contracting.
that mechanism's not being used tonight is because of the time constraints that the federal government is putting on us in Atlanta and getting that pushed through their regulations and their bureaucratic process that they have up there.
Yes, that is correct.
With that being said, I'm comfortable moving forward, Mr. Mayor, and I'll make a motion to add addendum 1 onto the, take a vote on addendum 1.
The motion is to approve addendum 1?
Yes.
Is there a second? Can I second it? I'll second it. Mr. Williams? Go ahead.
Mayor, it's not about that being comfortable with it. It's about if there was even a canceled meeting, then that means we should have had this, we would have had this Friday. Am I right, Jerry? If we would have had the special call meeting on Monday, that means we would have had this packet Friday.
Yes, sir.
So why didn't you all just send it out Friday?
Well, we were still going back with Axiom, fine-tuning the final points of the agreement, just making sure that their attorneys are okay with all the clauses in it, as well as the city's okay. Unfortunately, until around 6 o'clock last night, that was not finalized.
So what was the issue then? Because my colleagues are saying they're comfortable with the issue, there's no substantial changes, there was nothing, everything is the same, only thing changed is the name. Why would it take till 6 p.m. for them to agree to something?
Well,
that to me is a whole different reality of what my colleagues are saying about, this agreement. We've been working on it for months, and everything is good, and then I'm comfortable with it. And then you said to 6 o'clock last night you couldn't come. You came to terms. So what happened?
Well, it's not
what was in the agreement that was not?
It's not so much to come to terms since day one.
For lack of a better word, we're dealing with the semantics. Go ahead, your wordsmith.
Thank you, Councilman. Since this project was submitted by Axiom to the city, basically the terms have been the same. They're going to build an entertainment center, retail liner, parking garage.
What I'm asking is what in the document that delayed it to 6 p.m.?
Just the final small details that needed to be agreed on by both parties, and maybe Gail can touch on that or Gemma can touch on that.
Like what? Because now, which opens up a whole nother can of worms for me, is that if it was great and all of that, what took it so long to 6 p.m. to the small details that you all say?
So when we amended the agreement, we had to go through the entire agreement and change the name throughout. And it is a long agreement. And then we did add the exhibit.
How many pages is it?
I don't know.
It's a long agreement. Go ahead.
That's correct, sir. And we did add Exhibit I, the construction agreement. In order to be fair to Axiom, since we made the amendments and we made the changes, our attorneys provided it to them, and their attorneys needed the time to review it and to go over it, since we were the ones that made the changes. So it was simply giving them the time to go through what is admittedly a long agreement, review the Exhibit I, the construction agreement, and then confirm via email that they approved of it in this condition.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Roth?
Thank you, Mayor. Real quickly, I too have a problem with the way it was delivered. I understand that the agreement itself has not changed that much, and the particulars of financing are a little strange to me, where we can simply replace $6.8 million with another $6.8 million from another fund is kind of puzzling to me. But the way that this was delivered to us and the time frames involved, I'm not truly happy with, but I still understand and support this document as explained and described by our staff and attorneys, that I will be able to support this tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
One more thing, Mayor, and then I'm done with this piece. The PTP, they were there all along? I mean, the money that we replaced the federal dollars with, they were there all along to complete the project?
Councilman and the entire council. Basically, when the $6.8 million, we could no longer use it for this project because of the timeliness, we had to replace that. We don't have that money on hand, so instead what we had to do is increase the size of the bond issue from the original $22 million to now $30 million. And in order to do that, the financing is coming from other revenue sources. So it's going to be PTP and other non-ad valorem revenues that are going to be funding the bond issue.
Wait a minute, now, wait a minute. Every layer gets deeper and deeper. Wait a minute, wait a minute, you're saying, restate your statement again.
In lieu of the $6.8 million that cannot be used, which we would have had on hand, the size of the bond issue had to be increased. So it'll be financed over time. Because you're correct, we don't have the $6 million available on hand. In order to come up with those monies, we have to increase the size of the bond issue.
The bond issue, you mean as a loan? The loan
That is correct, yes, sir.
That the city is taking, that is taken out.
We were always going to be issuing $22 million. Now it'll be $30 million.
That's what I'm saying. See, those technicalities within the document, you said that it didn't change as much as the financial structure of it, but the director is saying that it has changed in ways to increase the bond, which means we're increasing our loan portfolio in order to get this done. You know, those are not like small issues to me. And I don't know about my colleagues up here, but those things, we need those. That's not small. You know, we're accountable to the public. We're accountable with the things that we do up here, and you all can talk and say he's ratting again. It doesn't matter, I don't care what you think, but because at this point in time, you know, these nuances of financing and all of this, you know, need to be talked about. I didn't know that. And Mayor, you said you had knowledge of it. Did you know that this was going to happen?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Burgess, did you know that about the bond increasing? So,
Discussions that I had with the manager prior leading up to Monday's
possible meeting. Mr. Roth, did you know about, no? Mr. Maldonado? I don't know if Mr. Shelley on there. So, how can two people know about something and the rest of the council don't know? How does that happen? How does that?
Well, I made a personal call to the manager.
But the manager should be responsible if he made, like we do everything else. If I request an item, they send it to everybody. If I request something, you all send it to everybody. Am I right, Richard? That's right. Same practice. This is what I mean by parity. You understand what that word parity means? Same across the board.
Yes, sir.
So if two of my colleagues have the information from the manager, wouldn't it be prudent to call the rest of us to say this is what the financial structure will be going forward, Mr. Manager? I know you're sitting in the hot seat tonight, Jerry. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, and I appreciate it. But yes, sir, there was a memo as part of this item explaining the process of the transfer of the dollars.
The memo came out when, Jerry? When did the memo come out?
9 o'clock, sir.
Okay, come on. Let's leave that out. We're talking about phone calls to council people to make sure that they understand the dichotomy of what's in this document. And I'm saying, if that is the case, all of us should have been notified like we do everything else, Mr. Attorney, through policy. That's unwritten, but it happens. So explain that.
I did not call Councilman Burgess or the mayor.
Did you know about the change in the financing of the piece? Did you
Yes, sir. It's in the memo that's in the document. I understand you got it late at night, but
call Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Call. If the manager, I know you're going to report back, he's going to review this whole video, and he can call me if he has an issue with it. If he's going to, even if they're making call, everybody needs to know about certain changes like that. That needs to happen so everybody is on the same page. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm supportive of the item. We're moving it forward. You have a second. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Burgess?
Carlos or Gemma or Ms. Sirota, whoever, when we receive that $8 million, can we not just take that money and apply it towards the bond issue to bring that level down? If that makes people more comfortable up here, that way it would quickly reduce that debt.
I don't believe it can because basically it's then going directly towards the project, and I think that's the issue. You can't use any of those funds towards that project.
But Carlos, you're using PTP monies.
You're replacing flow of funds, but his answer was the FTA monies directly to repay the debt service. I think that would be viewed as basically, the bond issue is directly for the project. So therefore, use of the FTA monies to repay the bonds would be viewed as directly applying to the project.
Isn't there a portion of that project that we can carve out dollar-wise and all that those funds were going to go to anyway?
Councilman, we started looking into that, and unfortunately, once the whole project, if you use $1 of FTA monies, all of a sudden, you got to deal with NEPA, environmentals, and that's what was causing the delay. So we figured out if we increase the bond capacity from $22 million to $30 million, at least we can eliminate that obstruction and that delay on the project.
Thank you.
Did you have something? No, Jim, I was asking Jim. Okay, I'm going to open up the public hearing at this time. Anyone would like to speak for or against this item, you're welcome to come up at this time. We'll start the clock at 3 minutes, please, ma'am.
Stephen McDuffie, 139 Southeast 36th Avenue, Homestead, Florida, 33033. I have a problem with the way that this has been brought up tonight. I have to agree with Councilman Williams that while I do agree with the project itself, bond increases without being asked as a taxpayer myself or bringing it to the public, I voted for bond increases before or bonds before for this city. But what kind of thing are we going through if I have to hear my city manager and my lawyer going for my councilman? Why am I having to hear through all this when I'm just flabbergasted because of the amount of money from 22 million or 24 million to 30 million? What's going on? At least move it back another month so that way they can at least have time to know all the details. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else at this time? Yes, sir.
Yes, David Goodwin, AKA Crazy David, 829 Southwest 7th Street, right here. Number one, I have to, number one, I need to give kudos to the police department because they've been excellent in terms of interaction. Second of all, with this thing here, I really truly believe that the research should be a longer length of time. I myself, Joe Blow on the street, wondering if you're throwing away the federal funds and not utilizing that, how are you going to replace what you're getting? I mean, you should use the federal funds. And if you're not going to use them, then it means you're farther deeper in the hole. And that's just me being outside across the street. Let's see. The other thing, what happens when you get old? You can't read your own writing. The other thing is a minor problem, and I guess it should go to, I don't know whether it should go to city council or what, but I've got some code problems. But
Mr. Goodwin, do me a favor. Let's just focus on this issue right here. If you have other issues, can you save that for the public comment section at the end of the meeting? This is just regarding this one item.
No problem. Then I guess it's basically down to this in terms of the utilization of the funds. If you're dismissing, then that places the city in a different parameter. And, how are you going to get those funds back or utilize those funds, which should be utilized? Okay?
Thank you.
Mayor, if I can address that.
Let me have the public come up. Any other questions, comments for or against this? I'll close the public hearing. Mr. Attorney?
Yeah, one of the things to keep in mind is the funding for this project is primarily from PTP funds. And Julio can jump in here.
Okay, don't use acronyms. Tell people what PTP is. It's public transportation.
Julio.
People's transportation. PT.
His
mic. Okay. Wait a minute. Go ahead, Julio.
People's Transportation Plan. And the whole purpose of that tax is basically to be used for transportation or transit projects, which is what this project is. Keep in mind, the increase in bond doesn't change the amount of money that we're still paying the same $33 million for the project that we were paying originally. We're just rearranging how it gets paid from different funds. So the money is the same.
That's the point that you all aren't explaining correctly, because the money's the same. The money's been the same from the beginning.
From the beginning.
It's the pot that you're using it out of, but you're not being clear with everyone on this action.
So let me see if I can basically explain it in a way that makes it more simple. We have a pot of money that we have to use towards this project, and part of it was the FTA funds that was going to go in directly into the project.
Federal Transit.
The Federal Transit Agency. Now, in terms of those funds have certain requirements that need to be addressed prior to usage of the funds. And the process to go through those requirements could take up to a year in terms of doing that. It requires just all sorts of federal guidelines that need to be adhered to. And late in the game, the FTA came back to us basically stating that we had to go through all those procedures. We were under the impression that some of those procedures would not apply to this project, but they do apply. So we would have to go through all those procedures, which would then put the project in jeopardy because it would take too long for it to go through. So the idea is to find ways to use the FTA funds in other projects that we already fund from the PTP that are not such time critical, so that then we can free up that PTP funding to use towards this project. And that's the whole concept. We're taking PTP funds that we're using for current activities, that we can use those funds towards this project to replace the FTA, and in essence, the FTA funds would then be used to fill in those gaps, throughout the years, as we need to, without having to be under that time constraint that we are, if we were to use them for this project.
But the federal funds belong to the city anyway. They're coming
They are.
here
We're not
anyway.
losing those funds. Those funds stay with us.
You're putting them in a different pot to replace the PTP funds, transportation funds that you're taking out to fund this transportation project.
Correct.
So the
Correct.
money, the point is, the money's not being lost anywhere. We're taking advantage of the federal money that belongs to the city anyway.
No, and we're not using any additional PTP funds that we weren't using before. We're just using it for different projects.
Okay.
And we have that capability within the PTP to use our funds in different projects as we see fit.
Okay. Mr. Williams?
My issue and question maybe to the finance manager is, when you say the bond, would you elaborate more on, you saying from 22, the project has always been at what cost, total cost of how much?
It was $33 million, of which...
Let me finish. That's okay, $33 million. Second part of my question is when you say that we raise it from 22 million, I think is what you said, is that right? Did you say anything about 22 million? Maybe I'm
Between
hearing
22 or 23, the original estimate,
okay.
yes.
The estimate to 33?
30 million, the bond issue.
Okay. The rest of that gap was from the federal funds, right?
That's correct.
So you're saying now we're using the PTP funds to close that gap with the bond. Does that move how do you explain that process as it relates to the monies that we allotted through the PTP? Or we already have that on hand?
Yes.
So we're not waiting on that, am I right?
No.
So all we're doing is saying we're taking away from other projects, waiting till the federal dollars come in and reassigning them to those projects that we're taking them from? Is that what I'm understanding? So,
I believe you're accurate in what you're saying, yes.
okay, all right. I'm just trying to get a handle on this now. Those resources. So why do you use the term bond? Where's the term bond coming from? I think that's the term that is elusive within the room?
Because PTP money is not all available at once. We get a certain allotment every year. So therefore, what we're doing is we're financing the project through the issuance of bond. We need basically the money up front to be able to pay the developer for this project within the next, say, 18 months that the project's going to be done. The monies that we get from PTP come over years. We don't get 33 million right off the bat. We get about $1 million or $2 million that's used for projects. We've been able to carve out a certain amount that we can pay towards the debt service for the next 30 years.
Okay.
So that's how we will finance the bond.
And so the debt service will be on the, just want to clear for the public, that's the city would not be paying the debt service for this project.
This is not on the taxpayers. It's not an
That's
ad
right.
valorem. It's coming from basically transit-related taxes that it can only be used for transit purposes.
And the bond that the bond that we're using, who's going to pay for it? Is it the city's not on the hook for the bond?
It's basically being paid by, it's going to be paid by the PTP, which is a transportation surtax.
I understand that, but the other part of it, that's only a part of it.
That's
not
part of it.
all
The other part is it's going to be, our goal is that it's going to be local option gas tax, which can only be used also for transit and transportation.
Okay. So I thought my understanding was that the entertainment show, I thought Showbiz was going to be paying the loan on this piece of property, or is it all?
What we're talking about is primarily the parking garage retail liner. That's what we're financing with this. That's what this money is going to be used to pay, the bond that will pay for that portion of it.
Whole 30 million.
$33 million.
How much is the total project?
33.3 million.
The total, what part is Showbiz?
For the construction,
paying?
that doesn't
what
include.
What part is Axiom going to be paying for? Any Showbiz? Who's paying the note?
Hold on, Gail.
Oh.
Hold on. Start over, please. Start over, please.
Okay. The 33.3 million is for the public facility, which is the parking garage and retail liner, which the city will own. The other part of the project, which is going to be the movie theater entertainment complex, will be owned, constructed, and paid for by Axiom. I don't know the exact amount. We aren't paying for it.
I know, but we need a price for it. I mean, the city, my understanding was the city was taking out the loan for it.
No, we are not paying for any part of that. That is the private part of this public-private partnership. That is their facility that they will be building. We will be contributing land for it, but they will be developing that part of the project. They will be borrowing money from their lender to build it.
Build it. We would give them the land or have a land lease agreement with it.
We will be giving them the land.
Okay, that's what I was trying to
Yes.
get. All right, very good. Because is there a person in the public looking at this saying that here we are, 33 million or 30 million to do this, and who's paying for it? So we want to be clear on that. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams. Any other questions from council? There is a motion and a second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes, he said yes.
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Addendum 2.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the purchase of property located at 102 Southwest 177th Avenue, 114 South Chrome Avenue, 130 South Railroad Avenue, and 26 Southwest First Street, providing for implementation, providing for an effective date.
Report from staff. Jim?
Mayor, staff recommends that mayor and council approve the attached resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement for the purchase of property from the Dryer Enterprises, Inc., in the amount of $2,200,000 for the construction of Homestead Station Multimodal Transit Center. The subject properties are 102 Southwest 177th Avenue, 114 South Chrome Avenue, 130 South Railroad Avenue, and 26 Southwest First Street. Mayor, these are the final parcels that need to be acquired for the entire multimodal site.
Southeast corner.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burgess?
Thank you. I see in here that $1.5 million is a hope from the county. When will that be finalized? With a yes or a no?
It's more than a hope.
Hold
We
on.
have the grant. The grant agreement has been negotiated. It was sent to the county attorney for review. It will be on an agenda either in May or June. I think the Government Operations Committee of the county, and then once they approve it, it goes to the county commission for final approval.
So if we needed to take it, the 1.5 million, it'd be a short-term loan from the general fund?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, sir. Mr. Williams?
So are you saying, in your professional opinion, that you think the county commission will approve this?
My understanding is that once they have made the grant, they've agreed to fund various parts of this project or the downtown redevelopment, and the agreement has been negotiated, it's on their form, it goes to a committee, and then it goes to the county commission. So yes, it will be approved.
Wow. That's power for 13 people. And you already know that beforehand, before
Well,
the meeting takes
they
place.
made the grant initially, so.
Well, you know how the county could work. One phone call could turn all that around. Right, Richard?
One phone call from me can correct it.
And one phone call from me could throw a monkey wrench in it.
Anything else?
So, Mayor, my question is that, Carlos, we have the 1 point, was it 1.3 million available in the general fund?
In the general fund, we have the cash and the appropriation available at this time, so we can do that as the Councilman Burgess stated. It's basically short-term. Once we get the money from the EDF, we can reimburse the general fund.
And if we don't?
Then right now, there's no other sources that'll pay for it. It would probably come out of the general fund.
And how would that place us as a city?
It would come out of the general fund balance.
Okay. All right, ma'am.
That's
That's
it,
a lot
sir?
of wishful thinking tonight. Richard seems to have all the power.
Gail, this economic development dollars, our portion was a part of a larger portion, correct?
It's the government, it was the county's general obligation bonds, the Building Better Neighborhoods bond, and it was allocated for many projects.
But I guess the question is, if they're gonna pass it or reject it, would they pass it or reject it all inclusive, all of the allocations?
The allocations, I'm not that familiar with the history of the bond. I think it's in one of my, but as it is applied for, it's distributed to various communities.
Yeah.
And so this is what we had requested for this project.
Mayor, if I may, you were actually at the meeting where we discussed this with the county. This was money that had been allocated $3 million for another community, and Commissioner Cava and Commissioner Moss went to bat for the city of Homestead. This was about a year and ago. Rick and I were there with you and George. I believe there were a few other council members there, and before the county commission, we spoke, we presented our plan, and they did award us that grant on that day at that public meeting.
Mr. Mayor, we feel very comfortable that this is going to be approved by the county commission. They've already voted on this once. Approving the agreement with us is really pro forma, and we feel very comfortable that this is going to be approved.
Mr. Burgess?
No, I was going to reiterate I was going to state what Gemma said, so for me to reiterate, we were down there, and I believe it was a full council or full commission that morning, and the gentleman, the commissioner that had $3 million in his pot agreed to allow us to have the 1.5. So I don't see there being any issues. From here forward, Commissioner Suarez, thank you. From here forward, it's just a matter of getting the formalities done, I think, however they do it down there at their own pace.
That's it, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor, I just want to, I was there, and that was back then when they had different leadership. Now they have a different chair and different vice chair. And so, as we know, county things could happen, and I just want to make sure that, that we're not solely counting on that if it doesn't happen for another 2 years. I mean, it happens. Things happen. It doesn't necessarily move it to the agenda. So, I mean, they voted on a subcommittee, and that was how long ago was that? That was last year, and it hadn't made to the full BCC yet. So, and I wishful thinking. I just don't want us to be 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, and it still hadn't made it to the full BCC. So, Mayor, that's it. I move it.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. I'll open up the public comment now. Anyone would like to speak for or against this item? Close the public hearing. Mr. Shelley, did you have anything? I failed to recognize you.
I do, Mayor. Yes, I guess I just wanted to point out. I mean, I have some concerns about the purchase price that we're paying. I do think we're overpaying for the property. I know I spoke with Jerry today. I had some questions that I asked him, and my understanding, and just for public record purposes, is essentially we're kind of up against the wall here. If we want this project to move forward, we have to acquire this last 3 parcels of property. And so if we don't pay the price that has been negotiated at this point, my understanding is that the project would essentially die because the developer wants that piece based on the site plan and the layout to make this project work. Is that correct, Jerry?
Yes, Councilman. We could have looked at eminent domain, but at that point, if we would have acquired 2 of the parcels that way, part of the entertainment center from Showbiz could not reside on top of those properties. And currently, the site plan that they have does incorporate those 2 lots.
Yeah, correct. So I'm not happy about the price that we're paying. I think we're definitely overpaying based on what I understand the appraisal to be of those particular parcels. And especially compared to some of the other properties that we've already purchased along this corridor for this project. But again, as I understand it, there really is no alternative at this point. If we want this project to proceed, we're going to have to pay this particular negotiated price. So I will support it, but I just wanted to be on the record that I'm not necessarily happy about it.
That's it, sir?
That's all. Yes, Mayor.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor, I did move it. But is there an appraisal? I don't see it in my addendum. You have it?
Councilman, this settlement is in line with what we paid for the DeGrays property.
No. I'm asking about an appraisal.
There were appraisals done, but they were done on the parcels separately. They were not done.
So there's no appraisal for this property? Oh, come on, let's not go around the bush. Is there appraisal for this property? These properties that we're doing?
The appraisals that were done for the separate, yes, for this property, Councilman.
Where are the appraisals? Where are they now?
If I could explain.
No, I just want to know, do you have them?
Do I have the appraisals? I do not have them.
What is the appraised value for the property?
The appraised value for the separate pieces is really not relevant to the value as...
Pete, just tell them what it is.
Jesus Christ.
It was approximately $600,000.
$600,000. And Axiom didn't think to help put in to buy this piece? Is this piece that Axiom need?
I think I believe there's one small piece of it, which is, as the manager stated, why we couldn't use eminent domain, which if we were able to use eminent domain to acquire the other parcels, it would have given us some more leverage.
Councilman, there's no question that we're overpaying for this property, and we could do much better if we went through the eminent domain process. Unfortunately, if we acquire it by eminent domain, then the uses of the property would be limited and don't fit in with our project. So that's what faced the city. There's no question here that
We're paying $1.4 million over the price.
and believe me, if there was some alternative, we would have figured out what it is.
And we're hoping the county on 1.3 million to get that back. I want this project to happen, but the way the pieces are falling together is sloppy. We're taking taxpayer dollars. Okay, I don't care where's it coming from, the federal government, it's all taxpayers. Sales tax, whatever tax you pay, it's all taxpayers. Land, it doesn't matter. And we all want this project. I want this, but the way the pieces are unfolding, and being done, tonight I don't feel like we're being a good steward of this piece. And when I'm asking direct questions, don't go around the world with me because it just frustrates me. It makes me, it agitates me. I just want my answer. You don't have to explain, just want my answer. And so at the same time, we're paying $1.4 million over what the property, as you had said, is worth $600,000. And you just really itching to talk. Go ahead.
With all due respect, Councilman, the appraisals were older appraisals, and they were those appraisals appraised the pieces separately. When you appraise the property all together as one whole, it has a greater value. So to say that the property is only
But you didn't tell me that. You didn't get a recent appraisal. Did you get a recent appraisal to say that? Did you give it to us? Did you give it to me?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're speaking as if I know what's in your mind. You're speaking as if I know what I should have appear as an intelligent person to be able to read and decipher. And I don't operate in that fashion.
Yes, sir.
And I would thought maybe by now, learning all of us individually, that this stuff like this should not happen. And so if you're bringing this addendum for us to vote on and no appraisal to see, that's not, I don't think that's prudent. And I don't think that's good business sense.
Well, with all due respect, Councilman.
That's it. You don't have to go back with me. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Roth? Let me put my 2 cents in worth here. Real estate is an objectionable opinion of value. And if you have a piece of property that somebody says is worth $600,000, and you have somebody over here that's willing to pay $2.2 million for it, there's a reason that person will pay that much money for that property. The reason is they have another goal in mind for the use of that property. So what I'm trying to say is sometimes, although it may be painful, you have to make a decision to do something in order to create something better. And if it costs you a little extra money over here, you end up with a better product in the end. So I get the philosophy of that. And again, delivery of all this information to us up here is not acceptable to me tonight. To receive this information this late in the game with all these misunderstandings is not only confusing to us, and we're supposed to understand it, it's got to be confusing to the people who are either listening or watching to us tonight. So we all believe in the project. And I think we're all very frustrated sitting up here as the way it's been delivered to us tonight. And I hope that staff understands where we're coming from. It's very important that we understand, us elected body up here, understand so that when we're out there and people ask us questions, we can answer them intelligently. We can tell them what the PTP is. We can tell them what the FTA is. We can tell them all these things. But if we don't know the information and they get a chance later in life to read it, and then we're faced with these questions, why did you approve this? Why did you see this? Why did you make this go through? I can understand the frustration up here from us. And I agree that we need to finish this. We need that property. And I think we're fortunate that we're not paying more for it. It's just a delivery tonight. I'll forgive you all. Come back at another time and we'll give you another chance, but we're going to move this one forward too. It's already been moved, so let's go.
Mr. Williams?
With that, Mayor, my colleague, my esteemed colleague, we moved, I've already moved it, but we need to take a vote that's
Did
ready.
we open up the public hearing yet?
I don't think,
Did we open up the public hearing yet on this one?
says, they said we did.
We did, okay.
There's no comments.
No,
That's
well,
right.
somebody says they had.
We closed it.
He's closed,
Okay, so any other questions, comments, Mr. Burgess?
Yeah, I just want to say, the number that we've arrived at tonight is high, unfortunately, as things progressed. But the number that we're getting this stuff at tonight is about 50% of what I had heard on the street that the person was asking for.
The original,
The original negotiation started much higher. Yeah, I'm just saying. So we did get them down. Unfortunately, they wanted a lot more, and we've got them to this point. But I do have to agree with Councilman Roth. The staff doesn't seem prepared tonight to answer the questions that are given to them. And it's not fair to us as a state, and it's not fair to the 65,000 people that pay the taxes here in this city. And I don't think that the staff was ready for this tonight, and it's sad.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Williams? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Addendum 3.
Mayor, invitation to bid 2017-16 demolition services for city properties was released to retain a contractor to provide demolition, cut and reface or removal services and restoration services necessary to clear city-owned property. The city shall authorize services based on need and availability of budget. No minimum amount of work is guaranteed under this contract, and quantities are undefined and indefinite. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the award of ITB 2017-16 to One Call Property Services, Inc. as the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. On March 31st, 2017, One Call Property Services submitted a best and final offer, thus reducing their original bid amount for Phase 1 and 2 from $393,626.50 to $279,853.03.
This is basically for the demolition of the said property.
Yes, Mayor.
Mr. Roth?
Is there a start and finish time?
Julio can attest to or talk about the mobilization phase, but we are looking for April, correct?
Actually.
Or May, sorry.
The contractor will get the notice to proceed in April, but the actual work out there is probably slated for mid-May. They have to go to the county and just pull some permits within the next 3 weeks or so. Once they get those, they'll get out there and start doing the work.
So mid-May, and then is there an expected finish date?
It's a 60-day project, but I expect that they'll finish before that.
And from that point on, Axiom takes over?
That is correct, yes. The site will be cleared and, yeah.
So that's when we see the building go up?
That's the idea, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Mayor, I just got a question. Those properties, business owners on US 1, with all of this construction going on, how would it impede on their daily operation? Have staff thought about that? It's just something I just thought about. Will we have an impact on their day-to-day business? And if so, are there any subsidies for them for that, for those business owners? Because this project,
Correct.
will hinder some businesses down there that are already on life support.
Yes, all the work that's going to be performed for this site will be within
Within
the
the
property
boundaries.
lines, so we don't expect any type of impact.
Road
other-
closures on.
There might be one or two when they do water connections, water line connections and those type of things, but it will be very minimized and it will be in terms of hours, not days or anything like that.
I'm saying, no, I'm talking about the entire construction of the project.
Correct.
Saying they'll be done with the whole project in hours?
No, what I'm saying is that there won't be any interruption to, let's say, closures of lanes or anything that would impact operations of businesses or anybody throughout that location. All the work will be performed within the property lines,
And have
just like
we-
any construction
have we-
project.
Have we alerted the business of such magnitude that what we're going to be doing? So that they would know and be prepared in case there is some interruptions within their businesses? Have we let the community know that's on
Our
that?
PIO is working on that right now at this time, so.
All right, Public Information Officer, when does that go out?
Zach's actually the PIO. I'm just sitting in. But we are working on putting materials out for that.
Okay.
We work
where-
very closely together.
Okay, where's Zach? Since
He's in law school.
Oh, he going to law school. Okay, you're paying for that too.
We're like this though, so
Okay.
we are doing that.
So, you're saying how would it go out?
Well, because the demolition's going to happen so soon, we already have some materials upstairs. I can show you.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that the business owners in that corridor would know all of this is taking place and they would be prepared for any interruptions in their day-to-day operation. Thank you, Mayor.
Sir.
I move it.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Anyone who would like to speak for or against, you're welcome to come now. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You guys mind if we take about a 5-minute break and get us something to drink?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
I move that. Second. Need a break.
All in favor? Give us 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Okay, so now we're going to move to what is tab 1, which is going to be the consent agenda.
Move it.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Public hearings, tab 6 has been pulled. Tab 6 was deferred. Deferred. Tab 7. Mr. White?
Yes, this is a quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Please be advised that the following item on the agenda is quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon this item, please indicate when you would like to address the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to be either cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. But the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for that organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications they've had concerning tab 7. Hearing no other ex partes on this matter,
When you say ex parte, you mean explain the entire project or mention it?
if you had any conversations,
Just now, just mention it, so I need to acknowledge that. We didn't talk about it.
so at this time, the clerk will swear in anyone who wishes to testify on tab 7 this evening.
Please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Tab 7 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for Palms at Bella Vista. It's a residential development consisting of 92 twin homes on approximately 10.25 acres, generally located at the southwest 336th Street between southeast 172nd Avenue and southwest 167th Avenue within the villages of Homestead, Development of Regional Impact, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Any questions from council on tab 7? Mr. Burgess? You? No? Okay, this is a public hearing. Mr. Arza, you want to come forward? Anyone would like to speak for or against this application, you're more than welcome to come at this time. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Any questions for Mr. Arza? Mr. Burgess?
No, I just wanted to say to the applicant, thank you. I know that you guys were here last time, and it was not an easy evening. But I want to thank you for going back through and doing the things that we were concerned about, or that I was concerned about mainly, and others may have joined in with. So I appreciate you guys, your good faith and your trying to make sure that we understand what is out there and what's going to be out there. So thank you.
For the record, Hugo Arza, offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate that.
You got to get your name on the record so you can get paid.
That's what they tell me. So,
Any other questions from council? Is there a motion to approve?
move it.
Moved and seconded. Any final comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. Good evening.
There you go. Tab 8, legislative matters.
Yes, that concludes the quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Moving on to legislative matters. Mayor, tab 8 and tab 9 are interrelated, connected, so I could introduce the title for both, and you can have a discussion collectively for each one of those in public hearing, and then take separate votes.
Okay.
So tab 8 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 30 zoning, Article 3, District Regulations, Division 23, Planned Urban Neighborhood District, Section 30-396.42A, Southwest Planned Urban Neighborhood, by amending the general standards, amending Section 30-396.62 subareas of the Southwest Planned Urban Neighborhood, modifying the regulating subarea zoning regulations and permitted uses, and further establishing the downtown mixed-use subarea multimodal transportation overlay district, generally located south of West Maury Drive, west of South Chrome Avenue, east of Southwest 1st Street, and north of Southwest 2nd Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. Tab 9 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the Southwest Neighborhood Master Plan by amending general standards and the regulating subarea zoning regulations and permitted uses for the downtown mixed-use district, further establishing the downtown mixed-use sub-area, multimodal transportation overlay district, and providing for an effective date.
Anything from staff?
Sir, staff recommends that we approve this. This is, like the attorney read, the changing of the master plan and the zoning code. We've taken this to the Planning and Zoning Board and gotten their recommendation to proceed. What we believe is that this helps us facilitate the downtown project by encouraging a mix of uses in that area. So again, we're recommending approval.
Is there questions from council? Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor, I voted no on this in beginning for issues that I had philosophically with the manager bringing it, but I am in full support, and so my vote won't be no tonight. It'll be a yes on the second reading. Okay, but my first no on the first reading was because I did not like we disagreed philosophically with it, of how he presented it to us. But for the project to move forward, it would be a yes tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments from council? This is a public hearing. We're going to open the public hearing on tab 8 and tab 9. Anyone would like to speak for or against, you're welcome to come. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Is there a motion on tab 8? Mr. Roth, hold on, I'm sorry, Mr. Roth.
Just real quick, this only encompasses a very small area, is that correct? This is only from Plum Avenue back to Southwest First Avenue? So it's a very small segment. It's basically covering the area where the parking garage and the new retail is going to go.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't really change anything in the rest of the Southwest Master Plan.
No, sir, it's very targeted in the area.
Yeah, I just couldn't make that. I just couldn't figure it out, but thank you.
Is there a motion?
Yes.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Shelley? Councilman Roth? Councilman Burgess? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 9. Moved and seconded. I opened up the public hearing already. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley? Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Burgess? Councilman Williams? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 10.
Yes, tab 10 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances, amending Chapter 3 Alcoholic Beverages, Section 3-1 Definitions, to modify the definitions of the Art, Entertainment, and Antiques District, and further adopting the Arts, Entertainment, and Antiques District boundary map, providing for severability, inclusion in the code, conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second reading.
Anything from staff, Joe?
No, sir, we're recommending an approval of second reading, the same thing we had heard the last time.
Questions from council? I'll open up the public hearing at this time. You're welcome to come and speak for or against item tab 10. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Final comments? Your motion? Is there a second? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess? Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 11.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City of Homestead Code of Ordinances by repealing Article 6, Demonstrations and Parades of Chapter 2, Administration, providing for removal from code, providing for severability, codification, and effective date.
This is a 42-year-old ordinance?
Yes.
This is basically like a housekeeping almost?
Repealing it, yes, it needs to be repealed.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, Mayor. I did get a call on this. That's amazing. I got a call on this one. Did you? And I told Matt, you're supposed to be sitting at the table. This is yours, right? You called me. Now, I talked to you about this word repealing. We talked about some synonyms that will...
Rescission?
Yeah, rescinding. But you said because of the legality of the ordinance, how it's written, the word repealing could not be replaced with rescinding. Is that right?
We're repealing the previous legislation.
Yeah, same
And
thing.
that's how it would be
Rescinding.
expressed. But it's a synonym.
Synonym.
It is a synonym.
Yeah, okay. This will correct the how should I say, the conflict in language of what we in America use as public speech to do that, right? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions from council? Tab 11, this is a public hearing. Anyone who would like to speak for or against, you're welcome to come forward at this time.
Thank you, Mayor. Stephen McDuffie, Southeast 36th Avenue, Homestead, Florida. Just wanted to ask about the repealing part or the rescinding part regarding what this would actually mean for city code and enforcement for law enforcement regarding, say, big rallies or something that might happen, say, outside City Hall and whatnot. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Close the public hearing. Let me get a motion. Was there a motion on this?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Williams?
Yes, to address the gentleman's question, this is an old, very old ordinance, and all we're doing is cleaning up the language where it will, from my understanding, where it will provide parity in what we believe in as Americans, free speech, demonstration. Am I right, Matt? Pearl, Mr.
This
Pearl?
effectively removes
It removes
the
us
requirements.
from that respect of trying to enforce that which we should not be trying to enforce. Did I explain that right, Mr. Pearl?
Yes, sir. We're
That's
just-
why you and I are still friends. You're still the best attorney Richard has.
It's a 42-year-old ordinance. Put it at that. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Burgess? Councilman Williams? Councilman Roth? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 12.
Mayor, on June 17, 2015, staff was given direction to negotiate with the top 3 ranked respondents to the city's request for power supply options. This contract with Covanta, Miami-Dade County represents the third of the 3 contracts. The Covanta, Miami-Dade County contract is for 15 megawatts of base power and will be used to fill daily base power needs. Energy scheduled under this contract, if approved, will be our lowest cost energy product and will allow the city to maintain or potentially lower rates, even if other fuel costs increase. A chart with the total power cost by resource is also attached. If approved, this contract for 15 megawatts will also ensure that approximately half the base power needs for the city will come from a renewable source. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council authorize the city manager to enter into a 12-year, 8-month power supply agreement with Covanta, Miami-Dade County for base power generated by the county's waste-to-energy facility. The total cost of the contract, including capacity, transmission, and fuel, is $3,653,928 in 2017, or $456,741 per month. The contract calls for prices to escalate yearly based on an index of either 2% or CPI, whichever is higher.
Questions from council? Mr. Williams?
Mayor, I think that's an error. I didn't press that.
Okay. Mr. Burgess?
Terry, what would be the difference between the 2% or what's an average CPI? And why wouldn't we ask for the lower of the 2 versus the higher?
Barbara, can you address that, please?
CPI has been running between 1.5% to 2% for the last 5 years or so. Excuse me. And the county is offering us a very good price on this contract, and initially, the contract was asking for 2.5% escalation. They did lower that based on our negotiations with them down to 2%. So, and that was based on
So
what...
they're both about equal in the long run?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Roth?
Already?
You're
All
up.
right, I got a few questions. Tab 12, this is what we're in. It's paragraph number 9, I think it was. Let me get to that. Where it has refused energy. First, is there ever going to be an opportunity that we will refuse energy and still have to pay for it? Because this actually states that we'll have to pay for it if we refuse it.
Yes, Councilman. If the county is offering us the 15 megawatts, and our base needs in the city are 30 to 35 megawatts, so we're foreseeing that we will use this product, especially with the pricing on it. We will be using this product consistently. From time to time, perhaps 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning, we might not need all 15 megawatts. And we would pay a penalty if we refuse it. I did calculate the penalty, and even in very conservative, with a very conservative calculation of refusing, I think it was 10 megawatts for like 6 hours a day or 5 hours a day, the total penalty came up to about $70,000 a year, and that was with some very large assumptions. So the pricing on the product is so good that, and the amount of time that we anticipate refusing it is so small that we agreed to the language in Section 9, because the penalty would be very small, and we really don't look to be refusing this energy very, very often.
Right. So just so I understand, we're required to buy 15 megawatts of power every hour?
Yes.
And every hour we put out, how many megawatts?
The smallest amount that we put out, which is what the term base power means, is 30 megawatts. So the smallest needs of the city, the minimum needs of the city, are 30 megawatts.
30.
When everybody's sleeping and the air conditioners are not on, the minimum amount is 30 megawatts.
Okay, so we're putting out 30 an hour, and we're only required to purchase 15 per hour from them.
Correct.
So chances are we won't have to refuse energy.
Correct.
And if we do, then the penalty is not significant enough for you guys to really have any red flags over.
Correct.
All right, so they're replacing half of what our energy consumption is, or our output is. Who is this replacing? Is it off the grid itself from other power generators, such as Florida Power and Light and maybe Duke Energy or all these other places?
Yes, all of the above. They would be replacing other higher cost products. So we are, in effect, pushing out some of our higher cost products and replacing them with a very well-priced product for the city.
So that's good news for
It's
our
good news,
consumers.
yes. Yes, it's definitely good news for our
So,
consumers.
Eventually, once this is passed, I'm not going to say a word. I was just going to say there would be a publication that may explain the changes coming from the city power and utility department. Okay. The other thing I had is the next section is section 10, and this has to do with payment, and they demand payment within 10 days of the date due. Is procurement prepared to do that through their sources, which is electronic funds, to transfer the monies to them so there's no penalties on our bill payment system?
Yes, Councilman. We currently use wire transfers to pay a number of our power supply contracts, a standard procedure, and we do that with the blessing of finance.
Should I back that up and ask Carlos, are you okay with that? Yes, we do. Okay, good. And then I had section 17. For those of you that don't think we actually read this stuff.
You're going to just read it tonight.
In the cases of, I hate the second word, the force majeure, it says that this company can go 9 consecutive months without providing us any energy. If that were to be the case, what would happen? And how would that affect either contracts we have in place now that may be expiring and replacing this with one with, and how would we supplement that energy loss for 9 months with FP&L, Duke, and all those other places? I mean, are we prepared for, if they have some kind of catastrophic issue at their plant, to be prepared for that situation?
Yes, Councilman, excellent question. We have sufficient capacity currently with all of the contracts we have in place, where if we were to lose these 15 megawatts, we have other sources. The pricing on those other sources varies, and is a little bit more expensive, but we do have other products in place that could fill in that capacity easily. The county also, from time to time, has scheduled outages where they have to take facilities out of service to do repairs and things like that. And they would notify us of those in advance. But again, we have to fill in those 15 megawatts when they're offline. So we are prepared. We do have the capacity to fill in the event that their product is not available to us. It's just a higher price.
Right. Okay. And the next one would be the same section. If we were to be incapable of receiving their energy, and they allow us a 6-month period of time, is there a provision in the contract that we're not going to be penalized for not being able to receive the energy?
There are two provisions. One is around energy, and the other is around capacity. If it's a force majeure, it's stated that if the force majeure, the impact of that force majeure lasts longer than 30 days, we have the ability to mutually agree to defer the capacity payments. And also, if it's a buyer force majeure, we will not be charged the penalties for the refused energy. So we do have some language in there that covers those scenarios.
Right, because this was kind of it was a very fair contract. I pointed out and I brought out some of the possible negatives that could affect us if certain things were to happen, and I'm satisfied with your answers. Thank you. The last one I have is section 34, the last paragraph of this thing. Can somebody just explain to me what that paragraph actually means?
Okay, and I might have to have one of the gentlemen that are here with us explain that. And it has to do with energy credits. This is about the non-energy attributes and RECs.
These are fellows from, these are the guys from?
Yes, we have gentlemen here
Covanta?
representing Covanta and the county.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Hi, good evening. Mike Bedley, Apex Power, energy consultant from Miami-Dade County. Section 34, paragraph 34 deals with non-energy attributes. It's the part of the energy that's not quantifiable in terms of renewable energy, green energy credits, and it gives the city of Homestead the option to buy those should they want them in their portfolio to be a fully green city. So you're getting an option to buy those credits, which can make up for a green city if you want to be more renewable, or if you'd like to have those in your portfolio. So the contract's very fair, that's such that if there's a market price for them, you have the option to buy those in 2020.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Mr. Williams?
Yeah, thank you so much. And gentleman from the consultant for the county and for the other. Let me ask you a question. One of my committees that the mayor has given me the honor and privilege of chairing is green cities and making efficiency of. Could you explain that, elaborate on that a little bit more about the credits and the availability of that in you say 2020?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
What's going on here is we move forward. We're trying to move to a greener society, recycling, being able to remove carbon emissions, methane gas as we recover in landfills and things like that, and so on and so forth. So what's actually happening is to moving to the green. If you know the power you're buying from this power plant, I think everybody should know, is actually coming from a waste-to-energy facility in Miami-Dade.
It's coming from garbage. Right? Better use term, this new power supply we're getting is renewable energy from your garbage that you dump.
And yours as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct? Does it come from Homestead?
Yeah,
yes, your garbage
we
from
drop off
Homestead
at your site, and
yes.
we pay to drop off at your site too.
So it's actually being
renewable
converted
energy.
into electricity, which is considered renewable energy in this
Right.
country, which you have the benefit to having in your portfolio to make a green city. So that's what's happened. We offered those at a market price. The market price is that whatever the price is at the time, you have the option to buy them or not, which gives you the flexibility in your contract to be very fair. Again, this is a county to a city deal to be able to have the flexibility to option the credits, which are the non-energy attributes, are not the energy and not the capacity.
Right.
They're the green portion of
Green
the
portion of it.
product.
And the reason why I wanted that to be stated because, it's in our package, but I think the public needs to know that as we move to more of a greener society, we're using garbage that we throw out every day to recycle it to make this available for our power supply. And I think that's incredible and that's remarkable. I'm glad that the city of Homestead is on the front edge of doing this. I don't know other cities that you all are partnered with, but I'm certainly happy, Mayor, that we're moving in this direction. Hopefully, this is a big opportunity for us. So I'm very excited. Barbara, congratulations on this move and for your work and diligence in what you all have done, because we're moving towards a greener city. So thank you.
Yes, it's a great idea for everybody involved and
Yeah.
all the stakeholders. Thank
Now,
you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, next question is for the gorillas in the room. How much would this save our consumers, those who are purchasing our power supply? That's my bill. How would this affect my power bill? How much savings will Jimmy Williams get from this renewable energy source?
Councilman, I'd like to hold off and answer
Oh,
that.
no,
wait,
no.
And answer that question after we've been about 2 months into the contract,
Yeah.
because we.
But surely you have done some studies on it.
Yes.
Surely you
Yes.
can provide those public documents to me and share with me, because this is all public, right?
I can share some spreadsheets that we've done.
I'd like to see a copy of your spreadsheets to
Okay.
make available to me.
And
And please, copy all of my colleagues. I'm pretty sure that's how we're going to be doing things. We're going to be talking about it, copying everybody on it. I would be interested, unless they may already have them. I don't know. Okay.
No, I would never provide them information I didn't provide you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Mr. Shelley, are you there?
I am here, yes.
You have a question or a comment?
I do, yes. Councilman Roth had asked one of my questions, which was the difference between this agreement where it's we're agreeing to buy a minimum amount of power no matter what, versus some of the prior agreements that we had entered into, which were more of the on-demand. But that question has been answered. But I am excited to see the possibility of lower rates for our community, just as Councilman Williams just referenced, and I hope to see those numbers as well. I know that's something that our community has been asking for quite some time. And so it's nice to see that we have been working on and we are trying to find a way to bring down those rates. And so I hope that we are able to deliver that to our constituents. And then the last thing is my name was not called on the last two votes. If the clerk can show that I voted favorable for those last two items.
I know she did
That's
call
all,
your,
Mayor.
I know she did call your name, Councilman, but we never heard anything back, so we maybe not
Okay.
waited long enough.
Yes, I understand. I'll make it you as a yes.
Perfect, thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Any other comments? This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak for or against, you're welcome to.
'829 Southwest 7th Street, AKA Crazy David. I accept it. That's what happens when you get old. I really and truly am somewhat amazed about this whole thing in terms of providing fuel for the city. And the fact that, number one, You have generators out there and using diesel fuel, and there's other ways of powering those things without utilizing fuel at such a high cost. That's one. Two, in terms of the other alternatives that you get electrical power from Monroe County, it seems to me that this should be weighed in terms of doing this. The third thing has to do with the fact that since there's availability and it's been done for decades upon decades, that solar is not being utilized. And that's standardized solar, and it's I mean, you can go from Europe to the United States, and it's going up in the United States, the utilization of solar power to produce electricity. And lastly, I know the fact that you have the ocean there, and I tried to bring this up when I was down in Monroe County. They brought me down there on the down low, and the thing is that I couldn't believe it that nobody down there could put the idea that you can use turbines when you've got water flowing back and forth 24/7, and when you have that type of situation going on, you produce electricity. Okay, so the thing is basically I'm saying is that I think the city council should take a step back and think about this, do some research, get some kids, you know, and think about a real way to reduce the power cost for the community because it's high. Okay, solar, turbine out there, and balancing out the thing rather than just going full blow and saying, hey, oh, are you giving us a deal? Great. I don't think it's such a great deal. And I think that if you do the research, you'll find a better way to really produce. Because burning diesel fuel, well, you know me. I've been making my own fuel now for...
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Nick Zamparello, 538 Northwest 11th Street. My only concern about this is the environmental impact of using garbage as fuel, as long as the company obeys, you know, current EPA standards on carbon emissions and everything else. I don't foresee a problem with it, but I think that's one thing that I don't think that anyone's really paying attention to is the emissions of the garbage being used as fuel. That would be the only thing I would recommend that the council and mayor look at is possible emissions. And other than that, I have no problem with our diesel fuel. I would recommend we switch to biodiesel, even though it might make us all hungry when we drive past the power plant. But
It's actually natural gas.
Exactly.
It's actually natural gas. Diesel start up, but then it switches to natural gas.
Okay, well, either way, that's my only concern is emission standards. Other than that, I think saving money is a good idea.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions? Close the public hearing. Mr. Williams?
Mayor, only thing I want to say about it is that we're moving in the direction of that. And even when you talk about solar, I mean, the panels and land that we would have to acquire to have all of that, we're moving in a direction, at least we're taking, this is the first step of many options that are available to us. And at least we are, and that's why I commended high accommodations to the director for bringing this forward in her negotiations. I think that we're moving in a way where we're understanding the environmental concerns. We understand that what we're doing, the generators out there are old. We understand that, we're moving in a direction, but we have to start somewhere. And I'm acceptable to this agreement, and I'm pretty sure that EPA standards have been met. I'm pretty sure that those studies have been done that will be made very public for you, sir, through my office. I'm pretty sure that the county and the consultants will provide that. I'm pretty sure they have studies on that, beyond studies and binders. But I'm pretty sure we would not enter an agreement of this caliber in this way to endanger our citizens or provide any other emissions that will be toxic to them, especially me and my son. So I think, like I said, Mayor, I move this item and commend the staff for their due diligence on this, that they have provided a framework by which we have commissioned them to do years ago, and they've done just that. Mayor, thank you.
Is there a second? Second. Would, it's probably moved and seconded. Would either, any of you gentlemen like to come up and just give a little explanation of the cleanliness of this product? Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Paul Moriello. I'm Deputy Director for Waste Operations with Miami-Dade County. Our waste energy plant is one of the largest waste energy plants in the world, and it has a state-of-the-art pollution control system on it. It's something we put in probably over a decade ago. So it's in compliance with all EPA regulations, and we're also, of course, monitored by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. So the plant is state-of-the-art in that respect.
Okay, sir. Just wanted, for the public's consumption, let them know that from your mouths.
Okay.
So, all right.
Well, happy to, and I'd like to thank Barbara Quinones and her group for working so closely with us, and I think we negotiated a very good contract, a win-win. And I don't know how many communities out there are receiving energy from the waste that they're producing, but it can't be many. So I think you are pretty much on the cutting edge. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Any final comment? Yes, sir. Any final comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Williams? Absolutely. Councilman Roth? Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 13.
Mayor, the purpose of this bid is to replace existing relays which have reached end of life with new relays for 2 substations in the Homestead Energy Services territory, Lucy and McMinn substations. Relays are switches that open and close circuits electromechanically or electronically. Relays control one electrical circuit by opening and closing contacts in other circuits. The project will be performed in 2 phases. Phase 1 will consist of engineering, and Phase 2 is for the construction to replace the relays. The city's intent is to award this project solely to one vendor to perform both phases. The contractor will be providing engineering, design, installation, setting and testing, and commissioning for the protection and control systems at the Lucy and McMinn substations. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve the award to ITB 2017-09 to PowerServe Technologies for the replacements of the existing relays at Lucy and McMinn substations in the amount of $98,599. This is a CIP project 740.
Questions from council?
I move it, Mayor.
It's moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded, and I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Improvements to Lucy Substation. Close the public hearing. Final comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 14.
Mayor, generator number 19 is the largest energy producing unit at the Gordon Ivy Power Plant. This workhorse unit is important to the city for power generation needs now and into the future. It is one of the younger units in the plant and has many years of life remaining. Periodic maintenance is required on the generator to ensure optimum performance. Since this is an open-air generator, it is exposed to atmosphere, dirt, and moisture. Therefore, cleaning and testing is an essential part of maintaining the optimum performance. Staff recommends that Mayor and Council approve.
It's moved. Is there a second? Questions from council? I'll open up the public hearing at this time. Repairs to cleaning and testing of generator. Close the public hearing. Final comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Roth? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Tab 15.
Mayor, this item is for the purchase of pool equipment for the Roby George Park. Staff recommends the Mayor and Council authorize the City Manager to purchase a PAL Portable 2.0 aquatic chairlift, ADA Evolution HT starting blocks with city logo, backstroke flags, and a Kiefer Advantage 2 lane lines from Adolph and Kiefer and Associates in the amount of $30,500.83. This is a capital improvement project as well, CIP number 706.
Questions from council, Mr. Williams?
Yes, Dennis, through the mayor. I thought don't we have a company that we have hired to maintain the pool?
All right. Councilman Williams, yes, we do. The first company, the USA Pools, their contract went ahead and was already over.
Expired.
And, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry.
Contract expired.
USA Pools was...
Expired. They had an expired.
We didn't fire them. Their contract ran up.
No, I said expired.
Yes, it's expired. Yes, sir. And then what we did is we hired a company with a temp agency to do the pool maintenance and also to do the lifeguards.
So why didn't what was the problem of not renewing their contract?
By the way that they were running it for the years that they had the contract, I didn't really see any kind of improvement that they promised us.
Yeah, because
so I didn't want to exceed it any farther, so I let them go.
So you fired them then? You said expired.
I just saying that, yeah.
Which one is it? Is it expired or did the contract expire?
It expired and I did not renew it.
Okay, so now we're back maintaining the pool.
We are maintaining the pool with a temp agency.
So, yeah, they promised all of these exercises and free. Remember, it was one of my issues that I made a Ruby George pool free for residents of Homestead.
Yes, sir.
Especially in my community. They were, how much they were charging? $2 or $3 a person to get in?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
You had 5 kids. That's for just a day. That's a lot of money. So now, what activities do we have? I mean,
the company that we did hire for the temp agency, they are going to start swim lessons to help out the community. They're a big company that the county uses. Plus, they also do private places too. So this company gave us the insurance that they would help us with, training kids how to swim in that. So we're thinking about doing that this summer, and plus the lifeguards.
okay, that's my next question. What about the lifeguards? Who's taking care of that? That's back on the city now.
No, sir, that's through the company. It's like a temp agency that we kind of use. It's a temp agency kind of that they run the lifeguards.
And their contract is in here? This is their...
No, sir, the contract is through, it's a contract that we did a contract summary, and it's, under the city's budget.
So we approved it?
Yes, sir. It didn't go through council, no, sir.
Oh,
this is through a contract summry.
No wonder I'm in the dark, because it never made it up here.
It's under the limit to bring to council, sir.
It's under
That's why.
Those loopholes we got to close up, you all. That's a loophole. Who does that? This company that you found, how kind are they with the community of making sure that what you have, I don't know what your vision is. That's why I'm asking these questions. You want us to approve this $30,000 to do all of this and logo, and I'm pretty sure all of this is needed. But then what are the incentives for this company? What are they going to provide for the community in which I serve, which all of us serve, especially me?
Since we've hired this company to do the...
How long ago was that? How long ago?
I would probably say going on 4 months now, sir.
4 months.
And we haven't had one complaint with none of the swim teams, the schools, or the public about the pool and the situation of the pool being dirty.
Okay.
So we've had excellent service through them, yes, sir. And to let you know, this $30,000 is not, it's for the swim teams that the high schools play there, swim there, and the starting blocks and the lane ropes and the backstroke flags and the handicap chair is needed. This is really to better our pool for the schools that use it for meets.
And what schools use it?
South Dade, Keys Gate, and then, of course, anybody that plays South Dade goes there.
I see. Okay, so 4 months, and we're doing it for the swim team.
This equipment is for that, yes, sir.
And does the swim team contribute to, does the interlocal part contribute to the pool upkeep?
Swim team pays us, sir.
How much do they pay us?
Depending on how many meets they have, but we usually it's like around $200 a meet.
$200 a meet?
Yes.
So
how
many meets would they have to have in order to cover $30,000? so will I meet.
Got to be a while, but also you got to look at it that we have to have safety. The starting blocks and that have been there since we took it over in 2012, sir. So that those equipment was already there. So if chlorine and the sun eats all this equipment up.
I understand. I just want to make sure because, and it is still open for the public free. Any hours change or anything of that nature?
No, sir, still the same way.
And still my young people can get in there for free, right?
Just like you wanted, sir, free.
That's it. All right. Thank you, Mayor. I move it.
Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Mr. Shelley, do you have any comments, questions?
I did not know.
This is a public hearing, tab 15. You're welcome to come and speak for or against. Seeing none, close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Burgess? Yes. Councilman Roth? Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Tab 16.
Mayor, in order to receive CDBG funds each year, the City of Homestead is required by HUD to prepare an annual action plan that describes the activities that will be undertaken during the funding year. From previous discussions, the City Council is aware that the city's intent is to use CDBG funding for the partial funding of the Cyberry project. The proposed use of CDBG funds for the Cyberry project is reflected in the attached fiscal year 2017-2018 annual action plan. Staff recommends the Mayor and Council approve the attached resolution adopting and authorizing the submission of the fiscal year 2017 and 2018 Community Development Block Grant Action Plan to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for approval.
Mr. Mayor, let me read the title if you don't mind. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, adopting and authorizing the submission of the FY 2017-18 Community Development Block Grant Action Plan to the United States Department of Housing, Urban Development for approval, establishing a budget for community development block grant funds, providing implementation, and providing for an effective date.
Questions from council? Mr. Williams?
Yes. The whole objective of the Community Development Block Grant is to improve the quality of life is one of the aspects. Am I right, Mr. Consultant? Is the consultant here tonight?
Yes. Well, it has three objectives.
Well, let me finish. I'm just saying
Yes,
that
sir.
first one was right. And then to enhance public infrastructure throughout the city to low to moderate income neighborhoods, right? And then three is the disaster mitigation. And then number four is to enhance and improve the housing of the low and moderate income persons and families within the city. This year, project focus on 1 and 2. Going forward, will the money be consumed as such just with these projects? Well, it's only 2 projects. The other 15% is administration, which is $115,000. And then the cyber library is $396,000. And the Section 108 repayment, which is 34%, is $260,000. Will these 2 items continue to eat up the majority of the community development block grant money?
Councilman, the intent would be that hopefully over the next 5 years, that would be the intent, but we don't know if HUD's going to approve that. So we know that at least for this coming year, this is our goal, to take, besides the money that's going to repay the debt service, it's going directly for the Cyberry construction.
So after the cyber this year, whenever it takes place.
And if I could just add one thing to that, it's a 2-part answer because the repayment.
I got the repayment part.
And that will be recurring for the next 20 years.
I understand.
Okay.
I'm talking about the 51%.
We have not, we're trying to determine an answer to that.
Because here's my issue. If we put all of the CDBG dollars in that, they're community-based organization that applies for monies to help for strategy 3 and 4. We're not going to be accomplishing that if we continue with just the cyber library. Are there any alternatives, Mr. Finance Director, or other sources going forward for next year? Because nobody can apply for these. And we had, the intent was that we were rehabbing houses, refurbishing houses that were on a list through the CRA, and some of those persons that were on the list, the money ran out and they got kicked into our second tier of the CRA dollars. So are we saying tonight that this construction of this 51% will be annually, yearly, and for how long? Because nobody else can, I'm just asking. I know this is just for this fiscal year, but you all think 5 years out.
The anticipated goal, and I believe in an email communication from the manager to the council back on March the 6th, he did communicate that in addition to the HUD loan, there would be approximately $1.8 million of CDBG funds that we were trying to attempt to use for the project. That would only be accomplished over probably 5 years. But again, we don't know if HUD will allow us to do that in the outgoing years, but certainly this year we're allowed to do it. The project's ongoing, and this is what's being presented, at least to use all that money for the Cyberry project.
See, the manager could send out how many emails he wants to send out to us to let us know. But as policy, we make the decision up here on what it should the intent to be used for. And what I'm having an issue with, philosophically wrestling with, is that if we're going to do this for the next 5 years or whatever it is, the total comes out to 1.3 or whatever you have indicated, then those other things that deserves dollars possibly will not happen in how many years it would take to complete that part of the construction of the loan, of the monies, is what I'm saying, that has been encumbered, even though HUD has not approved it. But for this year, we understand that. Going forward, I'm challenging and asking the council to really look at this, because these two items, the repayment is for 20 years, so that will not, 2 and 3 of what the vision is, will not happen, because 260,000 of that dollars will be eaten up by the loan that we've just, how much was that loan? 3.4, how much was it?
$3.865.
$3.86 million. So
$3.8 million.
3.8 million. So, 34% of the set of 773,000. And we've been able to do some great things with the CDBG dollars, and I think the intent of the CDBG dollars was to infuse with the back in those communities all over the city that are substandard, the aesthetics that need to be improved, the blight of the area, to improve on that. Am I right about it? So I'm very, very concerned, Mayor, that if we lock ourselves into this for the next 5 years, those dilapidated properties and things that we could have used, or schools that we could have helped with these dollars for competing grants to be able to infuse back into our community, will not be able to be there for our existence on council, because we all have expiration date up here.
Councilman, and if I can, assuming you approve this tonight, that doesn't mean that for the next 4 years you have to do that. We would be bringing another annual action plan to you next year. Whether it would look the same way or whether it would have other elements, again, ultimately would be up to you to approve.
I apologize. This is the county commissioner talking about Richard's issue with the 1.3 million. See if we can do it. Commissioner Edmondson.
That's going to be helpful. Any other questions? Yeah. No commitment long-term.
You don't have an agenda.
Okay. We lost quorum, so we have to wait. Can't do any action.
He just said it. No, there's got to be 4 in the room.
Shelley can't make the quorum on the phone.
Requires 4 in the room.
I can request an executive session it's a case, Miller versus City of Homestead and Brightview Landscaping Services. It deals with a failing to maintain shrubbery in a right-of-way that blocked the line, causing an accident.
What can we do, Richard? Is there anything we can do in the meantime?
You can do reports, just talk. Yep.
Those are agenda, they may require. Okay, so there is no long-term commitment on, this is a one-year deal. One-year deal.
Exception of the portion of the loan. The loan will be a 20-year commitment. And that had already been approved once by council. We already applied for it. So it's a matter of maybe bringing it back for a second resolution. But that portion would be long-term. The portion we're talking about is the one that we want to be able to use directly for the construction. If you approve this, that would just be for this year. You know, we would always bring back another action plan to you, you know, every year. And you would have the determination of how those funds are going to be used.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone would like to speak for or against, you're welcome to come at this time.
You got it then? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, citizens, council. Mr. Mayor, in this issue, I'm concerned about those individuals who have been residents of the city for an extended period of time, who own their homes, who have now become possibly elderly and unable to provide for themselves nor their residents the way in which they used to be able to do so. This money was appropriated for the purpose of helping those individuals so that they could be able to maintain their residence through the retirement of the retiring of their life. So we should definitely consider how much we're taking from those individuals who have been our residents and have been a supplier of our tax base for 30, 40, 50 years. So always keep those individuals in your hearts, and also keep those people in mind when we're making decisions to take away money that was geared towards providing for those individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments or questions or discussion? Close the public hearing at this time. Mr. Shelley, did you have anything? No. Mr. Williams?
And Mayor, just for me, this is just for this year, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, my sentiments to the council is just, you know, that this is something that will lock us in to not do other needy things in the community. And I think Councilman Shelley was one of the ones that sponsored to make sure that we had a program to fix up senior housing or houses across the city, because the CRA could not go outside its boundaries, and that was one of the proposals that we were able to utilize to be able to build some of the older houses or fix them up in the Northwest with shutters, roof, whatever. And now we're not going to be able to do that this year, and you know, for this fiscal year of 17 and 18, but hopefully next year, you know, perhaps. Well, not perhaps, but we need to really look at this, because this is, I'm afraid that we would lose our intent and for what the program was to do. And I'm all for education. I'm all for the cyber library. But it seems like, I mean, we're taking all of our resources as like a, what do you call this? A weed, and strangling hold on our plant and siphoning off the life that we have in utilizing tools that will help the needy and those who are disenfranchised and those who need this kind of dollars in order to improve the aesthetics of our community. So it is with reservation that I would support this, but coming forward next year, we need to have a plan of action on how we're going to deal with this CDBG dollars. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion on tab 16? Is there a second? Second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado? Yes. Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Roth?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess? Mayor Porter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we're into the public comment section. I had some cards here. Mr. Powell, Ed Powell? No, I'm sorry, you had a, Mr. McDuffie's done. Hold on a second. Francisco? Is that?
Looks like Francisco Enriquez.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
276.
I'm sorry?
I'm here to support SB 276, tax credit, employer tax credit.
Oh, okay, so that's under the vice mayor's agenda. Okay.
Oh, so you
I'm sorry.
called my name. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, I see it. It doesn't say here, but that's what you're here for, okay? Yes, sir. Maria Flora?
Mr. Mayor, it's great to be with you again this evening. I had the opportunity to do a little bit of research again on the issue of body cameras, and
This is Maria Flora.
I'm sorry, I thought you called me. You were
No,
looking
sir,
at me. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Not yet. I'm sorry. I've got you here, Mr. Womble. Well, you're next. Hold on. Is Miss Flora here?
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Womble. Now you're up. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Let me collect my thoughts again. Now, Mr. Mayor, the issue of body camera is still near and dear to my heart, and we've been working on this issue for approximately a year and 3/4 now, and we haven't made any headway. However, with great news that one of the issues that was keeping us from agreeing on this initiative was the cost associated with body cameras. The high-tech company Axon has put out a press release, and it says that the program for body cameras it will supply will provide the police department with supporting hardware, software, data storage, and training free of charge for 1 year for any municipality that would like to experiment with body cameras. This would get rid of that crutch that we were dealing with a little bit earlier, in which we said we didn't have the money. So now that it is being provided by the lead manufacturer of body cameras, I think the city of Homestead should exercise its rights to go along with the program and maybe just do a year-long study and then report back to the people as to its effectiveness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Nicholas? Okay, I'm sorry.
I know, my handwriting's not nice. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
For the record, my name's Nicholas Samparello. I live at 538 Northwest 11th Street. I'm here today to request changes to Section 432, same impoundment, to update the language to include the word foul, so that any police or animal control within city limits or property owner licensed animal removal specialist can legally impound loose running fowl. The other change in language I would like to request is actually in the discipline of violations of 431 to 441 be upgraded so that we are in parity with the animal laws of Dade County as presented in Section 5.2, paragraph E. If, however, the city is unable to do so and is outside the scope of the city, I would suggest that we enter into an agreement with Dade County Code Enforcement, since they have experience with apprehending fowl. And I actually do have a copy of everything I mentioned here for the council. If you guys want a copy, I can.
Get it to the clerk, please, sir. Thank you, sir.
I know Mr. Rose likes to use. That's right. Thank you for recognizing.
Mr. Sullivan? Oh, I'm sorry, were you finished? I'm sorry.
This is basically in reference to the animal enforcement, because right now we have a bit of a problem with roosters. And for the common everyday layman, it's kind of hard to navigate, who you call, who you talk to, what you have to do to get rid of these roosters. Because unfortunately, the way the city law is set up, it really doesn't have much teeth in the enforcement section. All there is a fine and a lien. If we go in parity with the Dade County, there's actually 60 days jail and a $500 fine on top of liens and fines as well. And I think that would add more teeth to the law, and it would put out a nice message that, it's okay to live here, but your roosters belong in the country.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan?
Kevin Sullivan, 1860 Southeast 6th Court. Before I make any comments here, I want to just disclose, for full transparency, I've received no gratuities, no implied gratuities for my comments. I normally walk at least once a week down Chrome through our historic downtown. If you heard me complain, it looks like a ghost town. Some days when I walk there, it reminds me of the spaghetti westerns that used to be shown back during the Second World War. No tumbleweed, that was all was missing. But I was walking last week, and I got around Lausner Park. Wow, flowers everywhere. So I know who put them there, and I really think it's great. We've got them there now. Maybe we should refresh them when they need refreshing, because it does add something to our downtown. So Dennis and his crew, outstanding job. And while I'm on the subject of Dennis, I have to say that we had a problem on Kingman Road with the sidewalk on the east side. The contractor that Mr. Burgess has been after to live up to his obligations left the sidewalk that was not really walkable. I mentioned it to Dennis. Lo and behold, I came by it yesterday. It's fixed. Great. Thank you again, Dennis.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Powell?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Edward Powell. I live at 745 Southeast 18th Lane. I happen to be a neighbor of Kevin back here. Well, I put on my application today TEVA, T-E-V-A. That's Tropical Everglades Visitors Association. It's in Florida City. I, and as well as Clara, who you all know very well, volunteer there. We've been doing it 4 or 5 years. And a subcommittee of TEVA is the Redland Tropical Trail. Well, the city is a member of that trail. So if you go to some of the places, Capri, Schnebley's, Robert is here, you'll see the signs of the people that are part of the Redlands Tropical Trail. Well, TEVA is having a fundraiser, if you look there. We tried to have one about 3 weeks ago. It rained at Schnebley's. Therefore, we're going to have it at Robert is here. That's May 12th. He's going to have a bonfire. You know what his facility's like. He's got the animals. He's got the park. So it's going to be a fundraiser. We have been working there for 30 years, and we welcome people to come to our area and to stay. This is not a stopping place. This is a place where you can actually stay and do things. That's the message we want to give. That's part of it. The next thing that's happening is Saturday. I don't want to steal thunder, but we have a thing called the Military Appreciation Day, MAD, and I know that Mr. Maytan and his group have been working day and night to put on what's becoming a bigger and better event every year. I'm happy to report that I'm on a subcommittee getting some of the competition for the military. That's part of what I am involved with. The next big item, the Military Affairs Committee, of which the mayor and Councilman Shelley are members of. I am a former member. I'm not here representing them, but I started a casino night that is now in its 5th year. It is going to be held at the Redlands Country Club. It is May 5th. It's on a Friday. It's $20. You get $100 in tickets, but it's turned into a major fundraiser, a lot of fun. So if you remember, May 5th, and since this is my first time here, since you've had this building open, the acoustics haven't improved because I can't hear what you're saying, but I know you're going to work on that. I have a little welcoming present I'd like to give you all before I leave. Patty, you get one, and then you get that for the rest of the I've not been paid to pass those out. That was my little idea. I happen to be at a place that has some chicken wings in town, and I got tired of wiping my hands in napkins and in my shirt and stuff, so I came up with a little
Thank you, sir.
item
Thank you,
for
Mr.
you. Thank
Powell.
you.
Mr. McDuffie? Mr. McDuffie's gone. Mr. Trent Steele?
Trent Steele. I live at 3528 Northeast 3rd Drive. Excuse me. I'm here to present the City Council with a petition with over 300 signatures from residents of the Isles of the Oasis community, Waterstone, Keysy Gate, and the surrounding communities, the vineyards as well, in opposition to the Goodwill store that's going in and being constructed right down the road next to Dairy Queen on Campbell Drive. There's also a Presidente supermarket going in there as well. Our issue with this, and I think I can speak for everybody in regards to this, is, and to your credit, you guys did answer some of my questions today prior. We were all worried that the city of Homestead was not doing more to bring finer dining, better nightlife, better shopping to Homestead. And a lot of us in that community were getting tired of having to drive to Kendall or Miami to get those things. I'm very happy to see the construction of the place that's going in downtown. I think that looks like a fabulous venue. I think that's going to be great. We just want to see the city make a better effort to bring those types of things out to the east end of Homestead. You know, those homes are selling for $300,000 plus out there right now. The community's growing. We would just like to see more of an effort made to bring, you know, shopping centers and stuff like that out towards that end. And when we do recognize that we do have the place where H.H. Gregg and those places are, we were looking more for something a little higher, maybe something like the Falls Shopping Plaza, something along those lines, where there's nice restaurants, bars, things that can entertain, you know, a younger middle-aged crowd. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's all the public comment cards I have. Well, I have your card for support for the Senate bill, okay? So, have any business from the city manager? Business from the attorney, Mr. Attorney?
Requested the executive session.
Report from mayor and council, Mr. Burgess?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Brea, several months ago, I referenced some flooding on Kingman Road there, just past the entrance to CVS and all that headed south. What's been, that road was in terrible condition 7 hours after rain on Sunday, and I've yet to see our crews out there or anybody out there doing anything. Can you give us a little bit of an update as to where we're at, if anything's been done or what? Because that road on Sunday was impassable in 3 out of the 4 lanes on that road.
Understood, and we're aware of that, and we did contact already our consultants to take a look at it and see what they can do there. We're looking at putting some sort of storm drainage in that area within the right-of-way on our side of the sidewalk. We understand that that sidewalk is becoming sort of like a
It's not just
like
that
a
side,
dam.
it's both sides of the road.
Well, correct. It will have to, in order for it to work, it has to be on both sides. They're going to be independent, not connected to each other, so that we don't have to break the road between the two. There's also now with so that's right now moving forward. Also, in connection with the new ramp that's going to go into the turnpike, there's going to be some redesign of that whole intersection, and it's not going to go as far as that location is, but it is going to alleviate some of the water that's running downhill from the intersection to where that low spot is.
Yeah, but the majority of water is coming from the other direction. So unfortunately, that may alleviate a little, but it's not going to do much. So
Correct, and we understand that, but I'm just telling you that the two connected are going to work
We need
together.
to get moving, because 3 months ago I asked about it, and we're coming up to the rainy season.
Correct, we understand.
And that road is impassable on a short, on a shower such as Sunday gave us. If we get a torrential downpour, that road is done. So
Understood.
we need to get
Understood.
moving on that. I also asked about the median removal there at that corner of Kingman and all that, where that little triangle is. Are we going
Correct.
to wait until that intersection?
And that's
improvement
part of that
happens?
intersection improvement, correct,
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Barbara, thank you to you and your crew today. You beat me to it. They fixed the lights along Kingman Road this morning, so thank you to that. Dennis, I just want to say that I've been out watching Little League, and the fields at Harris Field this year seem to be in better shape than they have been in the past. So thank you to you and your crew from all the parents out there. I know that everybody's been pleased with the fields at Harris Field. So one last question, Mr. Brea, because I could have thought it was 6 years ago we were supposed to start. But when are we going to start the construction on 328? Because it's getting a little bit ridiculous that every time we ask, we get a month, and 6 months later, we're still sitting here waiting.
Well, officially, they've started the project already.
No,
That's
but
all I
they-
can
they
say.
haven't done any work.
Correct, and I understand. They're still
Officially,
working
they
with the
started 10
relocation
years
of
ago when they
utilities.
designed it, if you want to be official.
Again, if we were responsible for the project, trust me, we'll be moving forward.
Well, that,
I'll-
you just brought me to another point, because last month at our meeting, I had a discussion about Joe's department not doing enough with our roads, but that falls under your department also. So we need to get more proactive as a city, as I stated last time at the meeting. We don't have, I talked to other commissioners and council members around the county, and I don't know why, but the county responds to them when they want stuff. Down here, we're not getting any response, so I don't know what we need to do as a council or as a city, but we need to do something, because other places are getting a response. And we seem to be getting drugged through the mud and left behind again.
Right, understood.
So I don't know if it's we need to take our roads back or what we need to do, but we need to do something, because the county just does not respond to us down here for some reason. And I don't know where that is.
Richard could make a phone call. Right, Richard could make a phone call.
I need to get a motion to extend the meeting for about 30 minutes.
For 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Anyway, that's my last thing, but we need to get that road moving, because that thing has been promised for over 5 years now. And we sit here and people look at me and I go, what do you want me to say to them? I can't say anything to them, because whenever I give them a speculated answer, that's all it is speculation, because nobody has the facts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shelley, you there?
I am, Mayor.
Any comments?
I've got two items I just wanted to touch base real quick on. One was to announce the Military Appreciation Day event, which is taking place this Saturday from 3 to 8 p.m. It's been about 3 months in the planning. They put a lot of time and effort into making this year bigger and better than prior years. This is the 6th annual event that we'll be doing. It's very similar to prior years. We'll have the food trucks, the static displays of all the military units. There's a kids' art competition that will be taking place in the Seminole Theater with all the kids' artwork on display. You have food vouchers for the military men and women. If they show the military ID, they'll get a food voucher to use on either the food trucks or up and down Chrome Avenue at the various food establishments we have on site. Should be a great event, so I invite everybody to come out to the event, both my fellow council members as well as the general public. So I look forward to seeing all of you there. The second item I have deals with, I know that the city manager and city staff have been beaten up a little bit tonight over some of the issues and getting information to us. But I also want to commend them, because I know that there's a lot of moving parts in all these projects that we've assigned to them, and that we've made a priority for our downtown. And I know that the city manager works tirelessly to try to bring this information to us and put these projects together, as well as the city staff. And so I do want to commend all the time and effort that they put into this, and all the effort they've over the last couple of years now on trying to bring our vision to life and what we want for our downtown and what we want for our community. So I wanted to make sure that they also got commended, in addition to letting them know that yes, we would like more information in a more timely manner. but they have been working very hard. So I want to appreciate what they have done and ask them to keep up the good work. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Maldonado? No, sir.
I'd like to request, so last week, or it was this week, a few days ago, first of all, I just want to say thank you for the staff who came out to one of our local HOAs, homeowner associations in the Waterstone area. It's funny because I've mentioned and I've answered their concerns for many times, but sometimes they just don't believe me. And so I thought it was the best thing to do is to bring out staff and let them answer it directly. Maybe they're doing it in a more technical, more eloquent way. But whatever it was, it worked out because apparently from our emails and from our correspondence back, they've been very excited and happy of the attendance. So I want to thank everyone here that came out and made that possible, and also through the city manager, his office and his staff. I'd like for you guys to coordinate with my assistant at the moment, my temporary assistant, it's Jimmy's assistant, so that we could coordinate for the rest of my district that have the same concerns. They tried to have the meeting reach out for the rest of the board members, but unfortunately that did not happen. But I'd like to coordinate with my staff and city manager staff in order to kind of make that, to bring that to light. So thank you for that. And that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, Mayor. I have two discussion items in your packet, and I did provide the subsequent resolution, perhaps, in your packets as well. What I provided to you is an interlocal agreement from the county. Many times, and this is dealing with possibility of adopting of the county civil citation ordinance. Many times our police officers are handling situations that take up and consume time when they can be on a patrolling more. And what this adoption or interlocal agreement and this accompanied resolution does is that at the officer's discretion for use of, let's say, laundering or different things of that nature, instead of arresting them, creating all of that time, I'm not sure exactly how much time, and maybe Colonel, you can share the light on how much time does an arrest, what's the time span that an arrest takes, taken in, going down, being processed for something as a minor offense.
Councilman William, Mayor, members of the council, that the standard arrest for a misdemeanor case, just your standard arrest, nothing super complex or anything, can take the officer up to 2.5 hours to process the individual at the station, to conduct the paperwork, to impound the evidence. And then, of course, in addition to that, we have to provide transportation to the county jail, transferring them from our facility to the county jail, which is going to take up about another 2 hours of either a police officer or a corrections officer if we have one on duty.
So we're looking at 5 hours for something, taking an officer off the road to do these things. The purpose of this, of why I'm asking for support, is that sometimes in our community, especially our younger persons, an arrest could mess up their whole life. It can cause them to not get into college, not be able to have scholarships, and many other things. Here's some of the effectiveness of the agreement that I had the attorney to draft up. The agreement authorized city law enforcement officers to issue civil violation notice for certain specific misdemeanors that will be identified in the county code that I provided to you in your packet a while ago for your reading. The violation eligibility for civil citations can be found in section 21-81D1 through 21-81D7 and include such offenses as violation of Florida littering law, illegal use of diary case, egg baskets, poultry baskets, bakery containers, trespass on property other than structures, and conveying as set forth in the Florida statute of 810.09, retail theft by removing of a shopping cart, loitering and plowing at the set forth of state statute 856.01, possession of cannabis in amount of 20 grams or less are set forth in the Florida statute, possession of drug paraphernalia is set forth in 893.147 1B. And so there's a fine of $100 for each of these violations that the county cites. The citation does not legalize any of the city's offense. Citations does not decriminalize any of the city's offense. The cost that it will cost the city will cover the attorney fees and costs, including transcript costs and clerical costs incurred in connection with appealing hearings from the violations. The city will also be reimbursed the county for the administrative costs related to the conduct of the appealing to the hearing for violation. The county will then reimburse the city on a quarterly basis with the fine collected from the civil violation minus 17 or 20% of the revenue to cover the county's administrative costs and the cost of processing the notice. In other words, the city will get 80% of what the ticket is. Some of the public policy arguments within this, the use of civil citations has proven to be an effective method of educating the public and penalizing offenders for relatively small, non-violent misdemeanors violations. We avoid alleged offenders becoming systemic by having a criminal or arrest record, no negative bearing on school admissions and scholarship, military service, bonds, or jobs. Civil citation have been a tool for Miami-Dade County since 2001 when the juvenile citation pilot program was implemented. The civil citation provides a law enforcement officer with additional tools in their kit, in their belt, besides handcuffs and besides throwing them back of a seat of a car and their lives being ruined for a bad decision. They have the discretion in lieu of the arrest. So just another tool. Officers can consider a number of factors when deciding whether to issue a civil citation, such as whether the offender has a criminal history, whether the current violation is relative to the offender's criminal past, or whether the offender's criminal record is more than 3 years old. Marijuana possession citation does not impact a driver's license, but a conviction for marijuana results in up to 1 year of a driver's license suspension. In lieu of a fine, individuals cited can do community service. So what they do wrong, they do pay for. Not only through fine, but we can have them do community service. Offenders can also request to be arrested. And so those are some of the talking points in this very extensive code that was sponsored by Commissioner Sally Hayman. And in our talks about this, I talked with the chief, and he assured me that this is a great option or tool to use, because taking an officer off the street for 5 hours is a major impact. You're talking overtime, you're talking a lot of hours. And I think given this concept, perhaps we can, and I look at it from a perspective of young persons who've made maybe a bad decision, as we all have made mistakes in life, but it ought not be criminalized to a point to where you ruin your entire life and your record. Many of you know that the county has a policy where they have taken off if you have been convicted of a crime, because many times, as soon as you see that check mark, most of the times, and sure the career source persons are here, most of the time your application goes into file 13. That means in the garbage, because they see you as at risk and they don't trust you. But we all have made mistakes. We all have done things that we just not have been caught yet. So with that, Mayor, and with the backing of the the chief of police and his command staff, I recommend the next council meeting, if there are any questions with this, that's why I gave it to you early, so that you may wrestle with some things. The great thing about it is, yes, in talking with the attorneys, well, especially Matt Pearl, who is a wonderful, great attorney at the firm, Richard. But we're sure that the city is reimbursed on any monies that we have to pay out, and it's something that we have done with other things that we do with the county. So this really does not cost the city anything other than passing it and giving the officers a tool in their belt to be able to use at their discretion to not take somebody to jail for something that we can cite them for and go from there. So, Mayor, that is my discussion. I open the floor up for my distinguished colleagues.
Mr. Burgess has a question. Mr.
Yes.
Burgess?
Thank you. Mr. Williams, if somebody is to fail to pay the fine, what is their process on that? Do they just keep allowing people to gain these citations?
No, I think that's not the whole issue. Is that when the police makes that discretion, they look at. I'm gonna answer your question. They look at the probability of what their criminal history has been. But I've not seen an instance of them not paying the fine. But I think if they do not pay the fine, then there's other issues that can be escalated. But I'll defer to Mr. Pearl, who has extensive knowledge in this agreement. Mr. Pearl?
This is treated by the county the same way we treat our code enforcement fines. They have enforcement mechanisms that were followed through.
Matt, can you speak into the mic? We can hear.
This is by the county. This is treated effectively the same way we treat a code violation. And when somebody violates the code, they don't pay the fine. There are escalating fines, and here the hearing officers have subpoena power. Ultimately, if you wanted to charge them, you could charge them with the crime. But there's an evolution in the county's process. Once a civil violation is off the city's books, once it's issued, the county takes over all administrative processes, and our hands are clean after that.
Okay. You speak of them being able to do community service instead of the fine.
Mm-hmm.
Would that mean the city would be responsible for setting up a community service office where these people would have to come and report, and then we would give them community service? Or is it a judge that gives them community service to go and do for the county? Or how does that work?
The county issued an implementing order that specifies the number of hours per $100 that someone would have to do.
So they wouldn't necessarily do the community service in Homestead. It could be anywhere within the county where
Not
the county sends them?
It doesn't speak to the implementing order doesn't speak to the location of the community service.
Would we be able to adjust that so that they have to come work within our community, since that's where their violation occurred?
I could certainly reach out to the county attorney's office and see if that was something that's feasible.
Because, I mean, that would, if we're going to benefit us, we need to benefit us.
Right.
Sure.
In more ways than one. And then the one other thing, Jimmy, that I saw in there, and perhaps I misread it, but it says that drug paraphernalia. So do they break that down, a marijuana pipe versus a crack pipe versus a needle, or how do they break that down? Because obviously some paraphernalia is more harmful to people than others in today's world and science, as we see, where a crack pipe, somebody that's on crack, seems to be a little more troublesome to the community versus somebody who might be smoking a joint a day or something.
If I can answer that for you, Councilman Burgess, it's still, whether it's crack cocaine pipe or a marijuana pipe, of course, crack cocaine is a felony charge versus marijuana under 20 grams is a misdemeanor charge. It would still be considered drug paraphernalia.
Okay.
Now, if they can and have gone to the extent of taking that pipe and pulling the residue from it and then charging him with possession of cocaine as an additional felony charge, but then that would be outside the purview of the citation process.
Because I have a little bit of an issue. I don't know if could we reword some of this stuff that was to make us happier, or would we have to stick with what the county's done and
No, this is
piggyback
the
on
county
them
form.
since they would be the ones enforcing at the end of the day, basically?
Well, this is the county form, so I'm happy if you have suggestions or things that you would like to see in it, to go back to the county and see if they're open to amendments that you would find more acceptable.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Mayor, any other?
If it's the city's ordinance,
No, it's county.
It's not.
we're just adopting the county's ordinance.
It's an interlocal
You're not
agreement.
adopting the
It's
county
interlocal
ordinance at all.
agreement. Yeah.
This simply allows you to issue citations for violations of these specific sections of the county
Got it.
code.
Mr. Maldonado?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to thank my colleague for bringing this forward. I will be going through it, reviewing it. Do we have a better copy? The one I received didn't look.
This is one we got from the county. I'm pretty sure they may have something
Yeah,
online.
if we could get something a little
I'm
bit more
not-
legible, it doesn't look
I'm not sure.
proper. So
I'll get a cleaner copy and I'll forward it
thanks,
to
and
everybody.
I'll go through it, Councilman Williams, and if there's any concerns or questions I have, I'll direct those to Matt. And then, so when it comes before us again, I'll be comfortable with what is brought forth to us. Thank you.
And also, there's a sample of the citation form that lists the different things that could be cited for. I mean, we have, in the community in which I live and represent, I mean, at this point, there is no really major delineation or in the officer's discretion of such that is regulated for a citation. We don't cite them for such. It's either jail option or no arrest, but somehow they don't pay for what they have done. And if the colonel would like to elaborate on that, we're open to that. But I think it's a, with minor details, I'm not sure. This has been in existence for quite a long time, and it's made it to other cities for adoption. So I'm not sure how much, maybe, Matt, some more understanding of it, wiggle room that we may have to unless we make our own policy, our own ordinance. But it's just an interlocal agreement and a resolution to attach to say we are in affirmative, and we would add this as a kit to our officers. They don't have to use it. They can still do what they do, but it's at their discretion to be able to issue a citation than tying our law enforcement up 5 hours for an arrest for something such as that. They can issue a citation. How long does it take to issue a citation, Colonel?
Me, and I haven't written one in a while, probably 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll say 10 minutes. So I think, and that gets the officer back on the road to be able to patrol our areas immediately. And so I think it's good for the city, and hopefully I will have request that this be on next month, wait a minute, yeah, next month for adoption. Hopefully, we will have all of my colleagues' support on this issue.
Very good, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions on this?
No, sir.
I raised all that hell just so I can get this. Thank you.
You have the next item as well.
Yes, the next item is, Mayor, when we had a funeral in my area, and we need to delineate resolutions for deceased persons and a proclamation. I don't know if it's right to have a proclamation at a funeral, but we don't have any other recourse in our ability to do resolutions unless it's done with the body of the legislature. So is there a process, Mr. Attorney, that we can use to to not do a proclamation. We don't, but do some kind of resolution of sympathy from either one of us, from the mayor, or however, on this, because I don't think we should be doing proclamations.
I think proclamations can only be issued by the mayor, resolutions can only be done by the council, but you could create a third form, which would maybe be an acknowledgement, or you could put a name on it, and you could give council members the authority to issue those in case of death without council approval. We just have to come up with an appropriate name for it that sounds dignified, something like that. But it's not a proclamation, not a resolution. It's something else that would deal with that situation.
Yeah, the Senate and the state, they do something different. I forget and the county does too.
Yeah, we could come up with some word that would sound appropriate.
Mayor, would that be?
I think that's fine, yeah.
Because, doing proclamation by definition, that I don't think that would be what we would need to honor the deceased
Right.
person. So I think as we grow in the city and persons may want something from one of us or so, or one of the council members or the mayor about sympathy of their, I think we ought to have an avenue, a way to be able to express that from the council of that. So, Mr. Attorney, with the mayor's and the council, my colleagues' direction, would you come back with us with appropriate language?
We'll come back with a couple of
Do we
different.
need to put that? How does that work going forward as it relates to?
We'll prepare a memo that maybe has some options for what this could be called and a format for it.
A format,
and put it,
yes.
And we'll put it on the COW agenda, and that way you can select which one you think is the most appropriate, and then we can just adopt it as a format that would be the clerk's office would have and could be issued.
Okay. Is that appropriate, Mayor?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I totally agree. Resolution's too difficult to make happen.
To make happen, yes.
We can make a resolution, the proclamation happen, but you're absolutely correct. It
Yeah.
doesn't always fit the.
Right.
So.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next, to the mayor, Dennis, what is this? It's choking my flowers on 4th Street. This is what we call a weed. And it's all over those nice $5,000 palm, those trees on 4th Street here's the other piece. I went flower picking today. Nice of me to pull out weeds that we're paying companies to do for us. Could we have, yeah, that's, who does that? Who?
If you're saying it's around the palm trees?
And it's around the flowers. Yeah, what company's in charge of keeping that up, that we're paying $500,000 to a year?
Councilman, to let you know, Southwest 4th Street was not in their original contract. It is now in their contract, so next month it should go in effect because we're doing a risk approval and everything. And I'll go ahead and call them tomorrow to see if they can start on it for me. And we'll start doing weed killing and stuff.
That mean because you invested all of the money and it's tacky. And when you ride down 4th, I'm looking at it, I said, that doesn't look right. And, the mulch, it needs to be manicured more.
Yes, sir, and I'll jump on it first thing. Like I said, I'm supposed to have a meeting with them because we're supposed to go into effect coming up months. So I just want to let you know that it wasn't covered before. So we were just doing with the inmates to maintain it until we get the contract going away.
Yeah, well, we spent $1.8 million on that road.
Yes, sir, you did.
And so we ought to have some upkeep on that. And I think, and while we're on the inmate cruise, some of the alleyways in my area need to be really cleaned up.
The same ones that you and me took the walk at?
All of them.
Okay.
Ride through all of them, every last one of them.
You got it.
They're just, we need, and Julio, whoever's still picking up the bulk trash, they're leaving craters in the area. I thought we talked about that.
We did.
They
We did.
just like they do on the east side, they pick it up, when they come through, you don't even know that they touched the grass. When they come to the Southwest, you know they've been there because they dig a crater.
We'll take a drive through and see exactly what's going on.
Mr. Manager, you need to, I don't know what you did with areas, but you need to take a drive through and see the craters that have been dug. And I love solid waste. They're my friend, but they don't take the same passion and love that they do, Mr. Burgess, on the east side. I can't get in your neighborhood. You have a gated community. I have an open community. Yours is nice.
We don't have that issue.
We don't have in Waterstone. So, and then we need to put, and also those streets that I've lined out again. When is my gravel coming in? The gravel for those roads that need to be done.
We'll take a look and see exactly what's needed, and we'll make sure to take care of it.
You're missing the point. You're talking about taking a look. I already looked at it. I want it, Mr. Manager. Maybe you're rational.
Councilman, I'll get together with Julio and we will check. I will check it out personally.
See, because when John comes, he and you all run. I've got to work at it. I want the same power John has. When he calls, y'all go running. I call, y'all have to talk about it and ride through. I'm telling you what it is.
Yes, sir.
It's not good, and the aesthetics of my community is very important to me. So I don't want to ride no more. I want to drive by. I want the truck out there lifting it up, putting it, and what do you call that machine to smooth it out? I want it nice. 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue, all those avenues. I want it done, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. I'll follow up with the staff.
You saying follow up?
Yes, to get it done.
Oh, now you're talking to get it done. So you have the addresses, Julio.
We'll make sure to get it done.
When? I'm like
We'll
John.
start
Now,
on it.
when?
We have to find out exactly what the locations are, and then we'll schedule for crews to go out there and do the repairs.
The streets hadn't changed.
I understand, but
it's the location.
We got to tell them where to go so that they know exactly what to do.
But I'm saying, I gave you and I had a list. Did you ever complete the list that we had?
We did back then, yes, we did. So now we just need to
It's
make
the
sure.
same list.
Okay, we'll go back on it and make sure to take care of it.
Okay. Dennis, it's the same areas.
Correct. Dennis's crews and are the ones that do that work. So
you all remember I took pictures and used to send them to you all? I would clock with pictures. I mean, hundreds of pictures.
I remember specifically.
I can go back to that. You want me to go back to that? Every morning you wake up, you'll see 100 pictures.
Do not have to do that. We know exactly what needs to get done.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Roth.
I got to follow that.
Yes, sir.
I'll be brief. In addition to the Military Appreciation Weekend this Saturday, also the Farm Bureau is having their barbecue down at the, I think it's like the 36th or the 45th annual Farm Bureau Barbecue. You haven't heard about that? That's why I'm here, to inform you. This Saturday at the Farmers Market down in Florida City, I want to bring up the Southwest Master Plan one more time.
Oh, thanks. I forgot.
As I promised, I went through the Southwest area, pulled out what is considered residential or buildable land, and I mean the bottom line is there's nothing significant in this in the Southwest section that's going to make any difference, whether we put 3 or 4 single-family houses in a row down there or not. So as we compile the new Southwest Master Plan, residential housing is not really going to be a big part of it, I don't think, because there's just not enough open space to make a big impact down there. And we'll have to come back and talk about it more as we move forward with the Southwest Master Plan. I just didn't want to skip that part because I said I would look, and there's really nothing there that, even if you consider the shotgun house properties, there's 2.5 acres there, which if you put a few dozen homes on it, it's still not going to make an impact to the Southwest section. So that's something to consider. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Mr. Williams, you had another comment?
Yes. From my understanding, we were supposed to bring that back this time, at this meeting, if I'm not mistaken, to talk about it. And it didn't end up on the agenda. I know everybody has selective amnesia. But
That was a special call.
that was
so
a
we gotta
special
get the
call.
minutes from that to see.
Right, but it was my understanding that it was supposed to, because the
Well,
vice mayor
workshop.
gave a time Pacific for everybody to report back in their, committees in which they chose to pick. And it was supposed to be at this meeting that we were going to discuss it. But it never made it on the agenda, and it was ahead of time, Jerry. Didn't
Yes,
make
sir.
one last minute now.
Yes, sir.
So could you see what happened?
Yes, sir.
And
I'll follow up on it and find out what
I
happened.
request that that be on the next meeting agenda.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
The vice mayor is in New York with the manager on city business. We've got 3 items here that she requested we go ahead and take a look at even in her absence. One is a resolution supporting Miami-Dade County school funding priorities. Now, Richard, is this to be placed on the next agenda? What is the action, or what is the non-action? What are we doing with this?
No, this one was on.
Go ahead.
This one was on the agenda by the agenda deadline, so it's a resolution, and the council can take action on it.
This one's been through the proper process.
Yes. Pardon?
I'm waiting on it for the end of the meeting.
Yeah, it's here.
So I'll move this forward.
Okay, is there a second on 20? All in favor? The same thing is on, we got the county commission support for state credit work program. That was a gentleman in the back that it was in support. Okay, he's still back there. Is there a motion? A motion? Was there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, the third item she has here is a request to transfer the $10,000 that we earmarked for YMCA. She would ask us to move it to Career Source Summer Youth Program. Mr. Burgess?
Is there anybody here from the Y or that program? Could I ask you to come up to the podium, please? Thank you for sitting through this wonderful meeting tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Can you?
Good, thank you. Can you just give your name and stuff for the record?
Marion Smith, Career Source, South Florida.
We already allocate you guys $10,000, I believe, per year, or through the program. If we give you 10 more, what will that enable you to do, or what is your plans with the $10,000 more dollars that you're asking to
Our
take?
plan is to add an additional $100,000 so that we are able to employ 61 children that are solely in the city of Homestead.
And employ them, what do you mean by employ
It's
them
for-
to work? at-
Yes.
Okay,
For summer employment.
okay. I was curious as to what where the other funds would take
The other
things to.
funds will come directly from Career Source, South Florida.
Right, okay. Thank you very much.
So this is taking the 10 from the YMCA and compounding it with the 10 that's already allocated. I got you. Ma'am? Mr. Maldonado has a question.
Thank you. Would you be able to provide the past summer jobs that you've provided prior to this to us, so that we could kind of see what has been the history of your organization here in the Homestead area?
Yes, we can.
Okay, and that if you just please provide it to all of my colleagues as well, so that we all know what's going on here. And then I guess my question would be for the Y, which is anyone here from the Y? In regards to how are they using it? So, but they're not here, so that's it for me. But this gentleman right here, he has a question for you.
It's all, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, it says that the summer youth program, says both organizations are budgeted out of the public relations account, and therefore there will be no financial impact. What is the public relations, Mr. Finance Director, is she talking about? Is she talking about out of her public fund?
No. This is, if you recall, during the budget process in September, We brought changes to the budget that was brought forward by council, and Vice Mayor Fairclough had brought both of these items, actually, were on
Right.
that item. And all she's asking now is, I know that I spoke to her, and she had said that the monies to unfund it from the Y was because it was so late in the process, and nothing had been done with that.
Right.
So she preferred to bring it forward and have the money moved over to Career Source.
Okay, right. I was trying to, the way it's worded, it gave me, I'm thinking, where it came from. So, okay, I'm very glad that this will employ an additional, how many? In addition with your other resources?
61,
61.
yes.
And how are they selected? Is it a lottery system?
Yes.
And when will you start, where will you begin to advertise?
Program will start in June and end in August. It's an 8-week program.
Where will you begin to have your?
So once we get your approval, we will start immediately.
I know, but where? Where will you begin to advertise within the city? Is there a location within the city where you begin to advertise? Or how would, if I had 10 persons from my area say, go apply, how would they do that?
They will apply on the website, on the Career Source South Florida website.
Mr. Mayor, to the manager, will we be able to link this?
Absolutely, to your website.
To our website?
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, to the manager, we'll be able to link this so persons within our community who can identify, since we're giving monies toward it, to be able to go on and have a connection from our website to theirs in order for them to apply.
I'll definitely follow up with the PIO and legal and see what we can do to get that done.
Okay, because I think that would be an extraordinary way to do it. And then for the PIO, could we put this in after consultation with the attorneys, which I'm pretty sure they were okay it, hopefully, for public purpose such as this, to put it on our media, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope. We have a spare Periscope? No. Yeah. Whatever media sources that we have, social media, there is, so that we can advertise this for our young people. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Move it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I think we've all heard enough tonight, so I have no business there. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
All in favor?
Good night.
No business.